Chasing horizons, the thrill won't wait. Racing the future, it's a twist of fate. Every second burns, no time to waste. Chasing horizons, feel the endless chase. Metal beats roar like thunder's cry. A flash of chrome as the seconds fly. Wind bites hard, but it fuels the flame. Every turn whispers my name. Chasing horizons, the thrill won't wait. Racing the future, it's a twist of fate. Every second burns, no time to waste. Chasing horizons, feel the endless chase. The stars blur, the lights ignite. We're outpacing time tonight. Grip the wheel, let the echo soar. The finish line's just a metaphor. Chasing horizons, the thrill won't wait. Racing the future, it's a twist of fate. Every second burns, no time to waste. Chasing horizons, feel the endless chase. Chasing horizons. Engines scream through the neon haze. The road's alive in a fiery blaze. Ties whisper secrets to the night. Speed's the language, shadows take flight. Chasing horizons, the thrill won't wait. Racing the future, it's a twist of fate.
All right. Oh, we're live? All right. Welcome, everybody, to the final regulation round of the PHG GTWS Season 2, brought to you by Lithograph Comics. My name is Toon. Pleasure to see y'all again, and I'm accompanied by the one, the only Oak, who has been keeping up with this every step of the way because not only has he been commentating, he's been racing. So, Oak, give me a recap on your thoughts on this season that we've had so far.
Hello, Toon. This season has been a really great season so far. It's my first season in here, and I'm really impressed by how everyone's been treating each other. There's been some up and downs, but, we were able to get through it nice and cleanly, so I really enjoyed this season overall. It's been really great to see how everyone's developed.
Really happy to hear that. Now, before we get into it, I mentioned we were brought to you by Lithograph Comics, so I'm just going to let you all know really quick a little bit about Lithograph Comics. Lithograph Comics isn't actually a business or a store or anything like that, but a comic book enthusiast who is just wanting to bring awareness to the hobby and history of comic book collecting and the comic book collecting community as a whole. You can find them on Instagram, and you can find him under Greg, aka Litho, sharing different things about comic books such as histories, stories, his personal collection, which has spanned over 35 years. And if you're curious about anything or just want to kind of learn some fun little details about comic books and comic book history, check out Lithograph Comics on Instagram. Thank you for sponsoring the PHG GTWS. All right, so moving into the round details. This is round 9, the final regulation round. So the final before the final, which is, now that I say that, kind of weird, but we are at Suzuka for the full course. We are doing 30 laps, 4 times tire, and racing hards are required. It's 3 times fuel, and you have to be in your manufacturer-specific Group 3 car. This is going to be a fun one, and since it's Suzuka, we know there's going to be rain. Oak, didn't you already do this race?
Yes, sir. So I was in split 1. It was very, very interesting race to say the least. It was very action-packed, so hopefully today can be pretty much the same.
All right. Well, can't wait to see it. Now let's go and take a look at the driver lineup for Split 2. So for Split 2, coming in P1 in the overall qualifiers throughout the middle of the week was Elzo in the Ferrari. He will be taking pole position for qualifying on that one, followed by Mr. Casual, McNaughty rounding out our top 3, followed by Cornbread, PHG Banana, aka Wicco, PHG Jazam! We've also got T-Rex Arms, PHG Ecstasy, PHG Papa, who unfortunately will not be able to make it this race due to some outside circumstances, and we are all thinking of you, Papa. Rounding out our top 10 will be RSR Pablo, aka Pablo Chacon. We have Corn Identity, followed by Evolved, C-Dubs, and Shelled, rounding out our drivers for Split 2. All right, so while we wait for our drivers to be ready and the races to get underway, Oak, since you did the race in Split 1, what insights can you give the viewers at home that may have missed something or just weren't able to catch the broadcast yesterday?
Yes, sir. So there will be rain this round. It'll be quite a bit. Drivers will have to determine whether they want to go intermediates or wet during that rain stint. But overall, it's just really about keeping it straight on the track and not overdoing it, because you could end up, spinning quite a few times. So, overall, just keeping it straight, trying not to get any penalties, keeping it clean with other drivers, things like that will all help you out tremendously in this race. These drivers are really experienced, so I'm glad to see how they're going to be able to adapt to these wet conditions and just trying to stay on track. It was very hard seeing those first Split 1 and Split 3s yesterday.
Yep, that's good to know. I honestly think that the rain is going to be the great equalizer. And as we take a look again at these times for Split 2, I should, stress that P2 to P10 are separated by just about half a second, give or take. So, the main nitty gritty of the middle of the pack is super close. And then we've got here, P12 through 14, all separated by less than around a quarter of a second, my apologies. And the only real outlier here in terms of the overall qualifying time is going to be Elzo, who set a staggering 2:16.872. So, I mean, Elzo has the pace to, pull away, and, if, by some chance, knock on wood, rain causes some unfortunate circumstances, Elzo will be able to kind of make it back up, assuming that they can replicate the pace that they had in qualifying. But yeah, P2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and even P11 are all in the 2:17s. And honestly, this is going to be a very, very close race. It's going to be too soon to tell. And honestly, do we happen to have a point standings for the manufacturers? All right, I'm getting word from our man behind the camera that we do not, but if you're curious, you can head over to the Papa's House of Game website where it is right there, and that link is pinned right in the chat. So if you're curious what the point standings are for the manufacturers, click on the link. Just, leave this tab unmuted. That way we can still entertain you. Please, it'd be very nice. And with all that said, Oak, do you have any predictions for Split 2, given how close this racing seems to be on paper from the qualifying times?
Yes, so I think since split qualifying was done in the rain, and this race qualifying will be in the dry, I'm thinking drivers will be kind of swapped around with how their pace is in the dry. I think, I'm gonna go big and bold here. I think Banana has a good chance to win this race. He's fast in the dry, and he's shown quite a bit of pace in that BMW in the rain as well. So I'm rooting for him this race pretty much.
You know what? That is totally fair. And I mean, Banana is a familiar face for both PHG and MMR, which you and I are both a part of. So, I mean, maybe there's an inherent bias, but, I mean, would it be double bias since he's, a friend of both teams? I'm not sure. But as we take a look at Sheld in a very, very snazzy-looking Pink Panther livery, that's very nice. And Mr. Casual behind him in a lovely... Oh, Pink Panther. All right, cool. We've got Inspector Gusteau, I believe. Yeah, that's the guy's name, right? Inspector Gusteau?
I think so, yes.
All right, and what have we got here? We've got C-Dubs in a... Am I allowed to say that? Okay, F Cancer. All right, just had to make sure before I said it with my chest. All right, but as we've got C-Dubs coming into the hairpin in a F Cancer livery with a nice green on that rear wing, followed by Corn Identity in a very Iowa themed livery. Look at all that corn. And we've got PHG Shazam in a pink PHG styled livery. That's actually quite nice. I like the way the PHG gives it like that texture. Quite nice. But as everybody's getting their outlaps out of the way, and we've also got McNaughty in the pink and gunmetal gray lithograph comics livery. Everybody's showing support for a very close relative of Jersey who is dealing with the unfortunate thing that is cancer, showing all the love and support, and I think it's a very heartwarming thing. As we take a look at RSR Pablo Chacon, my apologies, in a nice blue... What is that? Is that the Lamborghini? I can't really tell. All right. Yep, in a nice blue Lamborghini, and also starting his hot lap as we jump over to Evolved, who is in a Genesis. Let that one sink in. Now we take a look over at Elzo, who's in a quite lovely looking Ferrari. I mean, it's a Ferrari, so it's still not going to be beautiful, but I mean, the livery's nice. Ooh, getting a little whirly through the S's, and as we jump over to Cornbread with a Pabst Blue Ribbon livery. Yeah, did not know we'd see PBR. But hey, you know what? That's fine. Taking a look over Ecstasy in a Helldivers 2 themed car, racing for democracy and Super Earth as a whole. Honestly, that's a pretty clean looking, livery.
Yeah, I like the black and yellow.
Yeah. And we jump over to PHG Banana, who is in, well, would you expect anything less? All right, and
not at all.
Yeah, I would not expect anything less from Banana, but coming out of Spoon, he's carrying quite a bit of speed, and honestly, as these qualifying times come in, I think we're going to be seeing quite a bit of upsets in terms of the standings. What do you think, Oak?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of close battles going on, even with this last round and the standings. It's going to be nice to see what kind of drivers can make it out alive and see if they can make that final push in this last round.
Yeah, this, and we've also got Banana going in and changing tires. Maybe, what do we got here? hopping onto fresher softs, lighter car load, see if we can get maybe something rolling for a good upset, or do you think Banana was doing a bit of a reset for that one?
I think he might have. I think he's probably burning fuel at what he's. I think he's most likely burning a lot of fuel, the most he can. You know, with a lighter car, it really gives you that upper edge to get a faster lap time around here.
Okay. Now let's see where we're sitting so far. So we've got Sheld currently leading in pole position with a 201.3, followed by McNaughty in P2, Mr. Casual in 3, Cornbread, C-Dubs, and Evolved in 4, 5, and 6 respectively. And it's looking like P1 through 6, yeah, it's separated by not even a second, and that was the first hot lap. So we're definitely in for quite the shakeup, especially once some of these drivers get that clear air and also get into a position where they can find the rhythm. As we see Evolved heading up into Degna 1 and keeping it on the track. And how's he going to take Degna 2? Shifting down in the first, short shift to second, and belting it out. That was a pretty good run through Degna 1 and 2, and he shaves almost 2/10 off his time. Coming up into the hairpin, and it looks like we've got McNaughty, Pablo Chacon, and Evolve all within earshot of each other. But it looks like Banana and some others are also coming through, and we've got, what, about another 4.5 minutes of qualifying, Oak?
Yes, so this qualifying session is 10 minutes, so there's really no room for error in this type of qualifying.
All right, so everybody's got to make it count, but luckily, if they have a less than stellar qualifying, we do have 30 laps of this, and rain is guaranteed. There's no, oh, will there be, won't there be? No, it's going to rain. It is going to rain, and from the sounds of it, it's going to rain pretty heavily. But as we take a look at Nadi, who just came through 130R and coming up into the Casio Triangle, let's see how he'll manage after this one. Again, on both curbs and bringing it in, it looks like everybody was kind of following suit, and McNaughty is going into the pits. All right, you know what? That's fair. There's still plenty of time, and Evolve comes across the line with a 202.185, only just shy of 200ths up on his previous time, but all in all, not bad whatsoever, as we see Elzo coming across the line, who is just a little over half a second behind Evolved at this current juncture. Seems Sheld was also going into the pits, Corn Identity's going into the pits, so yeah, everybody's going to try and set a blisteringly fast lap from the looks of it. And the first person to go in the pits, being Banana, is in P12 at the moment. This should be his hot lap as he comes through the S's and head up into Dunlop. What will we see? Oh, looks like he's got quite a bit of clean air. Ooh, and Elzo goes off. Oh, that's going to be dangerous. Oh, never mind. We're good. Banana currently 0.006 of a second, but I think that little squiggle he did trying to, you know, preemptively avoid Elzo may have cost him some time. Coming into Degna 1 and just absolutely pinning it, short shifting down to second and first and going back up to second. Looks like Banana is 0.02 of a second up on the fastest lap. And we're coming into Spoon 130R, and I'm pretty sure there is an actual name for this other one. I think it's like 200R or something. But, like, these are all, you know, very long, swooping corners, and you can scrub quite a bit of speed if you don't take it just right. So we'll have to see how Banana manages Spoon. Coming in, running wide, getting on the curb, and bringing it back. Oh, and Banana! He's drifting it. Well saved.
Yeah, that was nice control shown by him. That is going to cost him, though.
Oh, definitely. Let's take a look at that one more time. So gets up on the curb and just slightly loses the rear end. Is able to stop from going into the gravel trap. So, all things considered, great car control and unfortunate, yes, but it could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
Now, we've only got a minute and a half left, so those drivers need to hurry up and get across the line ASAP if they want one more shot at a hot lap. And if your name is Banana, I'm pretty sure you're going to want to run that back. Take a look at Cornbread, who's coming around the last corner onto the start-finish straight, and what will that time be? It's going to be a 2:01.180, propelling him up into second place, separated by only 0.07 of a second. So we've already got one shakeup. Is anybody going to be able to dethrone C-Dubs in the last 60 seconds of this qualifier? Well, 60 seconds in runoff. So we take a look at Pablo Chacon, who is currently going through Dunlop. Doesn't look like he's having the best of efforts at the moment, and I thought I saw the hazards on, so maybe that was auto drive? I can't really tell. T-Rex arms coming into the S's, or yeah, coming into the S's. I thought it was like called Snake or something. I've been away for a little bit. I'm sorry, everybody. But it looks like T-Rex arms is going to be able to get another lap in. Looks like Evolved is calling it a quali, and I think we should see. Yep, all of the drivers are on their final hot lap, so everybody was able to make it in time. And this is going to be do or die for a lot of the drivers, Oak.
Yeah, especially with those drivers that made mistakes early in their qualifying, it really costed them. You know, they're going to cut it close here, but I think drivers that were able to cross the line are pretty well set, as Pablo Chacon is off the track, and I think that's his qualifying over.
I am definitely inclined to agree with you. As we jump on board with McNaughty and the Lamborghini and going up into Spoon, let's see if he can shave off at least 500ths of a second to take a podium spot from Sheld, or can he really shave off a quarter of a second to try and dethrone C-Dubs? This man is quite the racing enthusiast, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see McNaughty pull off a last-minute upset, much akin to what his league does in all of its broadcasts. All right, so he is 1.5 tenths up. Will he be able to carry that momentum as he comes through 130R and heads into the Casio Triangle for the final time this qualifying session? Getting onto the curb, keeping it nice and neat, and belting it on out from the looks of it. What will McNaughty give us as he comes around the last corner for the final time? And it is a 2-minute 9.56. Almost enough to dethrone Sheld. Shaved off 400ths of a second. Looks like Sheld just put in one more blistering lap. So that was a great effort by McNaughty and from Sheld. And it looks like Pablo Chacon is having a picnic. As we take a look at T-Rex Arms, who is already done, and Elzo jumping up into P10, separated by 800ths of a second from Pablo Chacon. And taking a look at Shazam, who is also done with qualifying. So I think that's just about everybody, isn't it, Oak?
Yes, I think everybody got across the line here. I think Pablo Chacon, since he's parked, he was the only one not to get across the line. So, but yeah, I think everybody else is done.
All right. So while we wait for this runoff time, that was a pretty good qualifier we had. What do you think?
Yeah, that qualifying was good. I think most of the drivers kept it on the track, and they were able to put in some good laps down, so it was nice to see that.
Was indeed. Now let's go and take a look at the classified results for qualifying. So taking pole position for the race will be PHG Sheldologist in the GTR Nismo GT3 2018, setting a 2-minute .854. Coming in by just a tenth of a second will be McNaughty in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 2015, setting a 2-minute .956, followed by C-Dubs running out our top three with a 2:01.103. Making our way down the order, we have Cornbread, Mr. Casual, and Ecstasy in 4, 5, and 6, followed by Corn Identity in P7, followed by PHG Banana in P8. Making our way over to P9, we have Pablo Chacon and Elzo rounding out our top 10, with T-Rex Arms in the Alfa Romeo 4C, setting a 202.019, followed by Evolved and Jazam in P13. What a qualifier we had, and seeing the two McLarens separated by, what is that, not even a tenth? That's really good to see. And I see we've also got actually, I'm quite surprised to see Banana that far down. What about you, Oak?
Yeah, I think that drift that he had earlier kind of cost him big time. You know, those tires on the second lap that he did were pretty much already used at that point, so he kind of had to put down a lap even with, you know, dirty tires and with significant wear already to them.
Totally. Oh, sorry about that. Mike had a bit of a issue. So yeah, well, that said, qualifying is done. We're just going to wait for the race to get underway. And for those of you watching at home, hi, how's it going? Pleasure to have your company on this beautiful Saturday afternoon or morning, I guess, if you're on the West Coast. Hope you're all doing well. If you have any predictions for what we might see for this upcoming race, by all means, share your thoughts. You got a personal favorite for this race? Let us know. Do you think somebody might crumble under the pressure? Let us know. If you think Oak is doing a good job at commentary, please let us know. Yeah.
What are your predictions for today, Toon?
It's honestly anybody's game, especially once that rain hits, just due to the simple fact that since qualifying throughout the middle of the week was in the rain, and rain is something that drivers primarily focus on, I don't know. I think that rain's going to slow everybody down, and then it's going to be an utter coin toss to see who will actually, benefit the most. And then I know when that track dries out, we might see one or two drivers that kind of forget that the pit lane dries last. But we'll have to wait and see how that actually shapes up as we are now underway for a 30-lap race around Suzuka in beautiful Japan. We've got Sheldologist leading the charge, and looks like McNaughty's already gaining on him, and Sheld having to jump to the defensive line. Ooh, McNaughty is getting right up in there. Will we already see an overtake within the first 30 seconds of the race? No, doesn't look like it so far. It looks like Sheld was able to hold on, and we've got everybody bunched up. This is going to be a very long and very intense race for everybody involved. As we take a look at McNaughty, who is currently sitting at about 0.2 of a second ahead of C-Dubs and about a little over half a second ahead of C-Dubs. We're gonna be seeing quite a shakeup, and I looked like we saw somebody go wide a little further back. As we take a look at Cornbread and Mr. Casual, this is a very dangerous spot to be, especially when you're going through Degna 1 and 2. Ooh, STC getting a little squirrely as they come up to the hairpin. That's actually not going to cost him as much as I thought, because STC does overtake Mr. Casual. Coming up to the hairpin with lukewarm tires, so we'll go with tepid. Looks like people are able to get through without any sort of issues whatsoever. And STC will be able to hold on to P5 for the moment. It looks like PHG Banana was able to gain a position. So everything seems to be working in Banana's favor. Ooh, as we have one go off in Spoon. Let's go and take another look at STC's overtake. It looks like getting squirrely doesn't cost you as much time as running a little bit wide. So for those of you wondering, there you have it. And coming into the hairpin, STC was able to just hold onto it and take the optimal line. As they come up into 130R, STC up into P4. Being able to keep it on the track as we jump over to McNaughty, who is just a little over half a second, almost 3/4 of a second behind Sheld at the moment. Looks like McNaughty might have had a better run out of the Casio Triangle, so he might be able to start gaining some of that lost ground. And honestly, when you're in a car like a Lamborghini, your corner exit does matter a little bit more than, say, the GTR, because I think PD just favors the GTR and the Toyota. Oh, McNaughty going a little wide, doing a slight bit of lawn mowing as he goes into the S's. That could have been very ugly if somebody of lesser skill was driving that car. What do you think, Oak?
Yeah, that Lamborghini car, you really got to be careful controlling that back end. You don't want to get too squirrely, or else you're going to end up shaving off a lot of your tires. So it'll definitely cost you in that.
Oh, wholeheartedly agree. As we see Banana get the overtake on Cornbread coming into Degna 1. Will he make it stick? No, he does not. Looks like Banana gets a little squirrely. But coming out of Degna 2, can Banana respond? Doesn't look like it. And it seems like Cornbread has taken the defensive line. Yep, and actually shuts the door on Banana being able to send it up the inside. Mr. Casual getting a tiny bit squirrely in that McLaren. Wait. That was a McLaren. Yes, that is. No? Yes. Yeah, it's been too long. Let's see what happened over in the back. So, Elzo coming out of Degna 2. Pablo running a little wide and is actually able to keep control of the car. Very well done from Pablo. Heading up into the hairpin. What happens here? Oh! a little nudge from Evolved, and it looked like Pablo went off as well. Wonder what happened there. I think Elzo may have just slapped on the anchors a little bit too hard. But it looks like it wasn't as bad as it could have been, and Elzo falls back into P12 with Jazam! Still in P13, about a second behind. As we go to start lap 4, Sheld is still in the lead, and he actually has gained a little bit more of a lead on McNaughty, increasing that gap to just about 9/10 of a second, but it is closing ever so slightly. Actually, no, he's pulling away. It seems like we might be playing a game of cat and mouse for the battle for P1 over the next 30 laps. Moving on over to Ecstasy, and it looks like Ecstasy is about a second and a half behind C-Dubs, but 3.5 seconds ahead of Banana. So Banana's got quite a bit of work ahead of him before we see him in any sort of battle for podium contention. And it looks like Mr. Casual is trailing by just a little over a second, so they're not out of the woods yet. Moving over to Mr. Casual and Cornbread as they come through Dunlop. Mr. Casual's got a 3/10 of a second lead on Cornbread, so one wrong move could cost Mr. Casual that position. Going into Degna 1 and keeping it safe. Degna 2, looks like Mr. Casual is able to keep that on track as well. Cornbread may have gone a little wide, but it's hard telling, especially in that Mazda. You just can't really tell. I mean, honestly, I think PD... now, I'm also getting word from our man behind the camera, the lovely bearded man TKs, that P1 through 5 are on the mediums, while P6 and down are on the hard. So there is a bit of... Actually, there's quite a bit of a difference in tire strategy here. So the hards are the required tire, just to refresh everybody's memory. And so those in P6 through 13 are going to be ticking off that tire requirement, which means post-rain and whatever else towards the end of the race, we could see our drivers hopping on those mediums, or if they play their cards right, or, you know, have a massive pair of lug nuts, then we might see them hop on their soft tires and try to make up for any time. As we jump over to Sheld, who is still trying to hold off McNaughty. That gap is now 0.3 of a second once again. And it looks like McNaughty's really trying to find a way to get that overtake done. McNaughty is definitely not one to go down without a fight, and good God, is he fighting right now. There's a 2.5 second gap between McNaughty and C-Dubs, so the battle for P1 could get a little, you know, a little intense, and they wouldn't lose too much time as they start making their way into Dunlop. For the 4th time of asking, McNaughty is purple by about 0.4 of a second, and actually has the fastest lap right now at a 2:02.103. So McNaughty's getting into his rhythm, and Sheld is pretty much going to have to drive defensively for quite a bit of time if he wants to hold on to P1. As they come up to the hairpin, as Sheld is purple by 1/4 of a second. And will McNaughty make a move on the hairpin? He will not. So great defensive driving by Sheld. Maybe we might see these two working together to pull away a little further from P3. That way they can, you know, have an uninterrupted battle for the race lead. Then again, we are almost a 1/6 of the way through this race, so there's still a ton of racing left to be had. Coming into Spoon, McNaughty looked like he was going to make a move, but seems Sheld is holding that defensive line. McNaughty trying to keep it a little tighter coming out, and Sheld taking the faster line through Spoon. For those of you wanting to shave a little time on Suzuka, when you come out of Spoon, hug the left side. It shortens the distance you have to go around the track. It will make up for a little bit of time. As they go side by side, going into 130R, McNaughty backs out of it. Great wherewithal from the proprietor of the NRL. There we go. It's a tune broadcast. I said proprietor at least once. Coming into the Casio Triangle, McNaughty taking a little bit too much of that curve going into it, but was able to keep the car pointed in the right direction. As they head down into the start-finish straight to start lap 5, starting the 1/6 mark of this race, and it looks like the gap is now just under 1/4 of a second. As long as McNaughty keeps this pace up, he might be able to get the overtake done. Ooh, coming too wide into turn 1. It looks like McNaughty is in the lead. Will he be able to make it stick? No, it doesn't look like it. Sheld is right there. Too wide. This is some bumper-to-bumper, door-to-door racing. I'm very sorry. And McNaughty is trying to eke out of it. Oh, and Sheld goes off. Oh, That is just unfortunate to see, but my God, Oak, that was a good battle for P1.
Yeah, I will say for McNaughty, being behind Sheldala just for that long may have cost him a little bit with those tires. You know, being in that dirty air really will wear your tires out significantly faster than just being in the clean air.
Yeah, and let's see if Sheld can bounce back from that. It was slight door-to-door that sent him just a hair wide, so I mean he's down, but he's definitely not out. So coming up into coming into the hairpin, don't know where my head was for a second. And it looks like Sheld was able to actually get out of there quite nicely. Getting a little squirrely, but nothing too terrible. Mr. Casual in P6, followed by Cornbread with Evolved and Corn Identity. We've actually got quite a bit of a group here, and it looks like Jazam has moved up into P12. Elzo is losing quite a bit of speed. I wonder what's going on, Oak.
Yeah, I think maybe if he's on the hard tires, I think that's gonna be quite a struggle to keep up with those medium runners right in front of him.
Hold on, did I see Elzo on the hards or on the mediums?
He is on the hards.
Okay, Elzo's on the hards. Just triple checking. As we see, McNaughty has now increased his gap to about 2 seconds over Sheld, and now Sheld has to hold off Ecstasy, C-Dubs, and Banana. This is actually going to be very beneficial for Banana if he can make these overtakes and make them stick. But this has got to be insanely stressful for Sheld because he went from having a solid battle for P1 to having a 2-second gap on McNaughty, and now is only a quarter of a second, if that, ahead of C-Dubs. And C-Dubs looks like he's trying to line himself up for a good overtake, maybe come Dunlop. It's kind of hard to tell. But, ooh, tires squealing for mercy. It looks like the grip is already starting to fade on those mediums. So, unless the rain comes in soon, which I don't believe it will, these medium runners might be in a spot of bother. But C-Dubs did just set a purple sector by 0.2 of a second. So, it's not all lost, but I think over the next, maybe 2 to 3 laps, these drivers are going to really have to start babying the mediums.
Yeah, those mediums around lap 8 or 9, they start really falling off here. Depending on what car these drivers are in, there's really a significant amount of tire wear and that'll start slowing you down quite a bit. So whoever's able to capitalize on those mediums towards the later end of this stint will be making up some ground significantly.
Yep, and an advantageous thing for P4 and 5 is C-Dubs just got a half-second track limit infringement. So as C-Dubs serves that, Ecstasy and Banana might be able to both capitalize on this, or at least Ecstasy for the most part. Coming into 130R, Ecstasy just moves right on by, dropping C-Dubs down into P4, and that sets Banana up for the opportunity. C-Dubs also going wide in 130R. That might be another half-second penalty, or at the very least, dirty tires. Coming into the Casio Triangle, C-Dubs with the dirty tires somehow makes it stick. Ooh, and Banana gets a little squirrely. That BMW is just not driver-friendly. Who in their right mind would decide to drive a BMW? I ask you, beautiful masses that are watching this at home. Anyhoodle. So the Banana is now, well, Oak, yes. Very, very astute point there, TK. So, Oak, why did you pick the BMW?
I chose the BMW because it's a good all-around car. You just really have to be careful going back on the throttle on these exits. But if you're able to...
I am so sorry to cut you off, Oak. C-Dubs had a massive shunt and is just fallen into P5. It looks like P6 as Mr. Casual. Will he lose any more speed? We'll have to wait and see after the replay. So coming into turn 1, we've got... Okay, I'm trying to see what went wrong there, because turn 1 was good. Coming into the S's, ooh, takes a little bit too much of the grass, gets into the gravel, and off into the wonderful world of Barry R. That is unfortunate to see.
Yeah, I think he just overcorrected the car a little bit too much and ended up getting the best of him.
That dropped C-Dubs into P last. That is heartbreaking. Luckily, we're only on lap 7 of 30, so there is still a ton of time to make up those lost positions. As we see, the order now is McNaughty in P1, well, still, Shelled in P2, SSC in P3, Banana in P4, Mr. Casual P5, Cornbread. So, I mean, for the drivers that were trying to shoot for a podium position, it's extremely beneficial, but for C-Dubs, that's got to be heartbreaking, and he's probably extremely frustrated. And nobody can blame him for that. Taking a look over at Cornbread, who is about 4 seconds behind Mr. Casual at the moment, but is only less than half a second ahead of Evolved. Cornbread is going to have to be a little careful lest he wind up in a C-Dub situation as well. Coming up into 130R, let's see how Cornbread will take this. Lifts off and then hammers back down on the throttle. That's great to see. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a Group 3 car you can actually take 130R completely flat with?
Yes, so the M6 is actually capable of taking 130R flat out, pretty much on the mediums or softs, you know. It's a really stable car, but you just, that corner exit's really you really got to be careful and feather that throttle, or else you're off into the grass.
Okay, so it's a case of the M6 giveth and the M6 taketh away?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you like driving an absolute powder keg, BMW M6. If you like having no respect from civilized people like myself, McNaughty, Leo, et al., drive the BMW M6. Yes, this is going to be BMW slander because BMW sucks. Now, taking a look at Evolved, who is trying to catch up to Cornbread at the moment and has about a half a second gap between himself and Corn Identity. Seems Evolved just barely keeps it on the track, and going into Degna 2, it looks like Corn Identity is trying to get an overtake to take P7, which means we'll have Cornception. Corn on Corn crime if we can see Corn Identity get past Evolved, and it looks like Evolved gets a little squirrely but is able to hold on to it as everybody's favorite driver, Josam, is up into P8. And I'm running out of fun ways to say that name, so we're gonna have to get a little creative here in a little bit. So taking a look at the replay, it looks like there was a slight bump from Jazam, which plummets Corn Identity into P9, and he's gonna just keep on moving. A slight nudge. Do you think that was fair dues there, Oak?
Yeah, I think, you know, at this point it just comes down to harder racing. I think that's more of a racing in anything than really a stewarding review, but I think overall it wasn't too severe where it ended up ending both races, so I think that's more of a racing incident.
Okay, so we'll just call that the nature of racing. As everybody's favorite driver, Josam, is down into P9, and it looks like we've got him and Corn hopping into the pits. Oh, it looks like Jazam was on the mediums. The sky is looking a little gray, and it's getting a little hazy, but is the rain going to come now or within the next lap or two? I'm not entirely sold. Some of these drivers are hopping into the pits, maybe to get a preemptive jump onto the medium or intermediates or wets. You never know. Or are they just trying to get off the worn mediums? Because taking a look at Sheld's tires and Banana's tires, those mediums, if it were several patches ago, they'd be fine. But from what I can gather in today's day and age, those mediums are pretty much toast, aren't they?
Yeah, so the rain will come in around lap 18, lap 17, around that mark. These drivers, I think, will now have to get onto brand new slicks, either mediums or hards. I think getting the hards out of the way nice and early will be nice. You know, it'll certainly get you a jump on positions here if you could either go onto the mediums or soft towards the end of the race.
Very, very interesting. And yeah, I can see where you're coming from, and I do appreciate having somebody in the booth with me who's already done this race, so we can get a little more insight into how this is gonna go. Now, say you're in Pablo's position right now, Oak. You've got some tires that are about half-life, you got rain coming in, but you're also kind of in a position where you can try pushing for a position or two. Are you going to try to make the overtakes before you go into the pits, or are you just going to try and play it safe until it's time to box?
If I was Pablo, I would try to play it safe and maybe ride cards all the way to till the rain starts. I think if he's able to manage that fuel and those tires, I think playing it safe will be better than trying to risk an overtake.
Okay, well, thank you for that insight. Also should throw out, we've got Sheldon Banana in the pits, and it looks like T-Rex Arms is going into the box as well. Some relatively dark clouds coming in, so we'll have to wait and see if they're going to just take another set of dry tires or if they're going to hop onto those wet weather tires. Seems like we've got Banana going into P7. C-Dubs has unfortunately departed us. You hate to see it. And Mr. Casual is now in P2 with a 21-second deficit between himself and McNaughty. McNaughty is going to do everything he can to stay out for as long as humanly possible. And that's going to be a huge game of risk and reward because you may have a 22-second gap over P2, but I also know those mediums aren't faring too hot right now. So it's one of those cases of you've got to really know what you're doing to really make this stick. Now, as we take a look at Cornbread, who is trying to stay in pace with Mr. Casual. Mr. Casual has pulled away just a little bit coming into the hairpin. Those hard tires are showing a little bit of wear and tear, and those cars are getting, well, substantially lighter, so that combination could be fatal if not taken with the utmost care. And over into Spoon, looks like Corn is going to try and shave that deficit to himself and Mr. Casual as much as possible, making it a 3/10 deficit. Now coming into the braking zone for Spoon. Is there going to be a setup for an overtake? It doesn't appear to be so. Both getting up onto the curb and Evolve following suit. So we've got a nice little train right here between P2, 3, and 4. Gap between them being at about second and a half, 2 seconds, give or take. And coming into 130R, Cornbread is giving it everything he's got. Going a little wide, was able to keep it within track limits and going into the Casio Triangle for the 10th time of asking. Mr. Casual seems to have taken a less than ideal line through there, and it looks like they're going to be staying out for another lap. So the rain isn't coming quite yet. Really hope nobody decided to hop on those wet weather tires. And Cornbread will just have to try and see what he can do to stay in Mr. Casual's slip for as long as humanly possible. Coming into turn 1 for lap 11, and Mr. Casual's keeping a relatively defensive line, all things considered. And Cornbread is, just following suit. And it looks like Evolved is starting to close that gap between himself and the proprietor of Team Cornbread Racing. I just want to slip that word in again because it's a fun word. And Oak, do you think we'll see any mishaps for some of these drivers since the cars are getting lighter and the hards, with the lack of grip they already have, getting even less grip?
I think if drivers, take full advantage of the assist they have at their disposal, I think it'll be rather easy to keep it on track. But there's certainly always a surprise coming. So let's see how they're able to treat it with the USAVs. But I think they'll be good for now until it starts raining.
All right, and it seems like our medium runners have finally gotten their hard requirements taken care of too. Well, barring McNaughty, because he's still on those mediums. And the fact that he's been able to stay out on these mediums and not go into the box for 11 laps is nothing short of impressive. And I thought for a second he was going to just go into the pits and completely prove me wrong, but well done, McNaughty. So 12 laps on the mediums, got less than a quarter of a tank of fuel. I definitely think he's trying to... Yeah, I think he's definitely trying to ride these mediums up until the rain. But you said the rain comes in at what lap, Oak?
It comes around lap 17 or through 19. Sometimes it comes in early, sometimes it'll come in a little late. Around that timestamp is where this rain will start appearing.
Okay, so McNaughty definitely doesn't have enough fuel and tire to make it to the rain. So maybe he'll have to pit within the next 2 or 3 laps, surely, and that'll minimize the amount of time he has to spend on those hards, which means wet tires come in, track dries out, hop on softs, and okay, you know what? If McNaughty does do that strat as I have listed here, where he will pit, do about 2 to 3 laps, maybe 4 on the hards, hops on the wet weather tires, and then jumps on the softs to try and finish the race. If that happens, if I have predicted it fully, I need somebody in there to give 10 channel memberships to TKs. All right? Somebody, not me. I don't got that kind of money, but somebody. Now take a look at Sheldologist, who is coming out of Degna 2 right on the bumper of Banana. It's looking pretty close, and yeah, I can see why nobody races in cockpit. You can't see anything. Oh, and looks like Shell tries to send it up the outside on Banana, but Banana's able to capitalize and keep the position. Now, if there was just a slight bit more overspeed, we may be seeing a different story, but unfortunately, that was not the case. Looks like Sheld is going to stay on Banana's tail for as long as possible, and it looks like Sheld will try and go up the inside going into Spoon. Will it be enough, though? It looks like it was. But will Banana on the outside line carry enough momentum? Unfortunately not. So in Spoon, we see an overtake by Sheld on PHG Banana. Coming up into the next time check, what are we looking at? And it would appear Banana is about 2 seconds off his fastest lap on those hards. That time difference is absolutely detrimental. Looks like Banana's able to keep it on track for 130R. Coming into the Casio Triangle, has to avoid some contact and is getting back onto the throttle. Will the car stay in the right direction? Looked a little touch and go there, but he did it. Cornbread is in the pits on 19% fuel, and let's go and take a look at a replay of what just happened there. So, getting the chase cam perspective here, we've got Sheld up the inside. They're side by side for the first portion of Spoon, and on the exit, looks like Sheld was just able to hold on to it a little bit better and capitalize on the inside line. So that will propel Sheld into P6 and was able to make it stick. Now, as we go into the S's, looks like Banana's not going to take that without a fight, but Sheld is just dancing away from Banana at the moment. That difference in tire is just night and day at the moment. So we've got Sheld coming into Dunlop. We got Pablo Chacon right ahead of him, and Pablo Chacon is on those worn hards, so I think Sheld will be taking that position off of him here very soon. Degna 2 is also a very dangerous corner to have a light car and worn tires. You take a look at Evolved, whose hards are just grasping for any signs of life. I hate to see what McNaughty's tires look like right now. Getting a little squirrely out of the hairpin, but is able to keep P3 for the time being. Mr. Casual is currently 2.5 seconds ahead of Evolved and is 26 seconds behind McNaughty at the moment. And the fact that McNaughty is still, like, gaining so much time on worn mediums, barely any fuel. Please, for the love of God, pit. Like, I implore you. Thank you. Okay. I was going to get very worried if he stayed on one more lap. So, will that be enough? Oh, go ahead.
I think with the gap that he put on Mr. Casual coming into the pits, I think he'll have just enough to stay ahead of him. So, I don't think Mr. Casual will get ahead of McNaughty coming out of the pits here.
You know, I am definitely inclined to agree with you, but it's also heavily dependent on how much fuel McNaughty takes, because I don't think he has enough time to get a full... Nope, he will go to half a tank and hop on those hards. So now we've got fresh hard tires versus Mr. Casual on the mediums? No, he's on the hards too. Right. It's Sheld who's on the mediums. We got a lot of drivers here. And very worn hard, so yeah, McNaughty's able to execute a masterful pit stop. And will 54% fuel propel him to the end of the race, though? Or will he have to get more fuel when he goes and hops onto those wet weather tires in about 3 laps? Which, by the way, it's looking like that strategy's getting ready to come to fruition. So please have your payment method ready to gift 10 channel memberships to the beautiful T-Case. He's feeling under the weather. You can kick him a couple memberships. Now, as we jump on board with Sheld, who is trying to find the right opportunity to overtake Evolved. Evolved is definitely not in an ideal position to be trying to battle for a position, as he's got virtually no tires, virtually no fuel, and can only do the best he can to defend Sheld. As you see, the fuel light is on. Those hards are almost completely gone, and it looks like Sheld will be able to not quite actually get the overtake done, so hats off to Evolve for defending in that Genesis, which, if I remember correctly, is quite a bit unreliable once it starts getting low in the fuel category. But, Oak, you're a much better judge of how a car handles than I am. So, is the Genesis okay to defend in the current state that it's in? Or do you think Evolved is playing with a handful of loaded dice?
I think with those used hards, I think the Genesis is quite a handful to control. I think the safe option will probably let Sheldologist through as he runs a little wider 130R.
Yep, and looks like, that could have been a whole lot worse than it was. Dead hards, no fuel, and having to go off that rejoin. If that was, just a couple degrees off on the rejoin angle, we could have seen Evolved go for a spin. Yeah,
that's definitely risky territory to be in, especially with that AstroTurf. It's really hard to control your car once it's on there.
And it looks like Banana's got a half-second penalty as well, so that half-second penalty will cost him any opportunities to catch up to Sheld, but Sheld is also on a faster compound. Now, looking at Pablo Chacon, getting very squirrely, but is able to keep it pointed in the right direction. He's got pretty much no tire, pretty much no fuel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the Lamborghini actually does well in conditions such as this, because McNaughty was able to keep gaining time in the Lamborghini with no tires and no fuel. Pablo's able to keep the car pointed in the right direction with no tires and no fuel. So I don't know, in terms of dangerous situations, maybe the Lamborghini's one of the better equipped vehicles for this, because I don't think the McLaren, I don't know, maybe the McLaren could handle it too, but FR cars like, say, the GTR and BMW, don't think we have a Toyota in here, do we?
I do not think so.
I don't think so either. But I think MRs might have a slight advantage in conditions such as this, just due to the extra weight in the back. So, the McLaren and the Lamborghini holding on and keeping everything going where it should be, I guess it allows a riskier strategy such as this, but can't get too risky. Will Mr. Casual? No, he will not. I don't think Mr. Casual's got this. Pablo, pitting with 1% fuel. That, wow. That was a very dangerous game. So we're on lap 16 of 30. The range should be in within the next couple of laps.
If I was Mr. Casual, I would try to turn up the fuel map just a little bit, just to stay within range of these next 2 laps here. I think that's when the rain might hit.
Yeah, I think that would be the safest bet. And as long as Mr. Casual can keep holding off Sheld, it will pay off. As Sheld is all over Mr. Casual's bumper and is not able to send it up the inside onto Degna 1 and definitely will not be able to send it in Degna 2. Yeah, Mr. Casual, if he keeps this up, will be able to hold off Sheld for the majority of the laps until the rain comes in. But it looks like Sheld will try and take it up the inside. Will it stick, though? And it's looking like it might not. Hold on. Who's got the better acceleration here? Will it be Sheld? Will it be Mr. Casual? They are side by side heading up into Spoon, and it's looking like Sheld might just eke it out. And yeah, I don't know if Mr. Casual just conceded the position or what, but it was looking like they could have gone too wide into Spoon, although that might have been, race suicide. I don't know. There was... it's leading me into some what ifs. So, I don't know. In your professional opinion, Oak, was backing out of that the right call?
I think backing out was the best call he could have made, even with Banana being behind. I think if you're battling with position here with Sheldologist, I think that'll significantly hurt your tires a lot more than just riding out smoothly here as he goes into the pits.
Yep, and it's lap 16, getting ready to start lap 17. So, do you think Mr. Casual could justify hopping on the intermediates?
Yeah, at this point, I think running the intermediates will be the best call because it's already getting really close to that territory now. So I think the mediums are the best call. Or sorry, the intermediates.
All right, and Corn Identity is going on completely dead softs. I mean, it was a great idea on paper, but yeah, those softs are absolutely fried. I don't for oh, and the rain comes in, so looks like Mr. Casual just beat the rain. So well done there, but it's not a lot of rain to really put the intermediates into their element. And honestly, given Corn Identity's dead softs, this rain happening, at least in sections of the track, because it hasn't fully hit the track, but I don't know. I'd be feeling some cardiac issues with those tires in a front engine car and the rain coming down. It's going to be a little tricky. But Cornbread is able to get the overtake on Corn Identity. So for a moment, we had Cornception, where we have a battle between Corn Identity and Cornbread. Coming up into the hairpin, and looks like Corn Identity is just doing what he can to hold on to this as best as possible. And am I hearing music? Okay, just wanted to make sure I wasn't like developing schizophrenia in the middle of the race. This is like... C-Dubs put this together? Alright. Well, then we will let the music from C-Dubs go as we see Corn Identity go off track in Spoon, but is able to safely get it back on. Now, how many positions will Corn Identity lose, though? Because Mr. Casual is on the intermediates, the rain is coming in, and it doesn't look like it's really accumulating at this moment. Corn Identity signaling for Mr. Casual to go around, and just one, yep, there it is, one less than ideal lap of, running intermediates already took, what is that, about a fifth of the tire life from him?
Yeah, that dry lap on the intermediate really cost him big time. But now with this rain, I think his tires will cool down significantly, and I think he's locked in here.
Yep, Mr. Casual jumped all the way up into P4, and McNaughty is still on the racing hards. Oh, this is going to be tricky. Yeah, I am definitely inclined to agree with you there.
Yeah, it looks like that rain hit a little earlier than expected for these drivers. I think definitely a tough break for McNaughty and Banana and Sheldologist as he gets a 1 second penalty.
Let's see what happened there. So Sheld just delicately coming into Degna 1, and yep, just had no control of the car. But that
Banana also spun.
That shouldn't have warranted a 1 second pen, though. Okay, that's just... I don't know. PD, come on. And as we've got McNaughty trying to nurse the car back to the pits, coming through Spoon, and is he going to be able to keep it going in the right? Yep. Look at how delicately McNaughty's using his throttle. He's keeping it about 80 to 90%, and just only when he's super confident he can actually put it to the floor actually does it. And it looks like he's staying at least a gear or two ahead of the actual gear for traction. And yeah, I'm also listening to the music right now, and I'm hearing Rainmaker, so I can see why the music is playing now. Very fitting, mind you. Very fitting. Well done, TKs, and very well done, C-Dubs. Now it's over, and McNaughty's gone into the pits. Banana. Oh, and he's gone, and there goes Sheld. Oh, I need to get the time to make a highlight reel, because that's going in there.
I think this worked out really well for Mr. Casual. I think those intermediates were definitely the right call.
Yeah, those intermediates were a fantastic call. Let's see what went wrong here. So, coming into the braking zone, we've got Banana and... Yeah, they just couldn't stop. could not stop whatsoever. That is unfortunate to see, but hey, they didn't lose any positions, so it could have been a whole lot worse. Now we've got Mr. Casual in the lead as McNaughty takes his pit stop, and let's see if McNaughty can catch up to Mr. Casual, who definitely has the advantage by having the tires broken in and had the wherewithal to take a preemptive jump onto the intermediates, as we saw quite a bit of water splash up when he touched that curb. That's actually quite interesting to see. Now, Mr. Casual coming in. Go ahead.
That this is full wet conditions, so those intermediates are definitely a little bit slower than those full tires that McNaughty put on. But once it turns dry, I think those intermediates will definitely be a little faster. So this will be interesting to see.
Yeah, the decision between using wets and intermediates is well, not only is it a crapshoot, but you've really got to have like 2 steps ahead plotted out, because you've got the wets, which will benefit you in times such as this, and then you've got the intermediates that they'll come into their own as the rain is coming in and as the rain is leaving. And honestly, it takes longer for the track to dry than the heavy rain actually staying around. So I don't know who's in the right with this decision, because it's either you're doing well in the buildup and the in the cleanup, but when you're on the wets, you can really like set your gap and make up ground in the thick of it. What would you do, Oak?
During my split 1 race, I went full wets, but I think once the track developed a dry line, those wets really fell off pretty quickly. The intermediates definitely might be the best call, but it's certainly really close as to what is the right choice.
And with 10 laps left, it's still anybody's game. Like no one person is a clear-cut favorite to win this. And I mean, McNaughty is doing what he can to get past Mr. Casual, but Mr. Casual is definitely doing his best to defend at the moment. Taking a defensive line coming into the S's, and Mr. Casual does have an inherent disadvantage because those curves are insanely wet, and the intermediates can't handle those curves like the wets can. So, I don't know. It's hard telling, but we're going to be seeing a good battle for P1, especially when we come to Degna 1 and 2, where those curves are how you take those corners. Now, Mr. Casual does have the inside line for Degna 1, but will he be able to get it parked in time? Yep, gets it on the apex, and ooh, very risky game for Mr. Casual. McNaughty avoiding the curbing as best as possible, getting a little squirrely, but is able to keep it in the right direction. And with how McNaughty is playing this, I think, yeah, the best bet right here is just let Mr. Casual treat it like it's a dry track and let the mistake just happen, instead of, trying to put the pressure on and force a mistake, at least in my uneducated opinion, as we've also got S to C and P3 on the heavy wets. We've got Jazam in the heavy wets as well, and all the way up into P4, mind you. Jazam has had a great race so far. Bananas on the heavy wets, so we got T-Rex arms on the intermediates. TKs, can we actually keep cycling through to see who did what? Shells on the wets. We've got Evolved on the intermediates. Cornbread on the wets. Pablo on the wets. Oh my god, cooked wets. Yeah, he did a very dry lap on those. Elzo on the wets, and Corn Identity is on the wets as well. So the heavy wets were the odds-on favorite for the drivers. But Mr. Casual on those intermediates is able to keep McNaughty at bay. So was there really a right or wrong answer here?
I think certainly with some good defense, you can keep McNaughty behind. But, now it's getting to that time where the rain will start dissipating little by little. So those intermediates are definitely going to show a good advantage once it dries out.
Oh, absolutely. And it looked like McNaughty went a little wide into turn one, so that's going to cost him a little bit. But since he does have the grip and pace advantage at this moment, maybe he's not going to lose too much time as he could have. But I mean, in a position such as this where there's 9 laps left, you really don't want to be making those kinds of errors just because once the track starts drying and these drivers hop onto their respective, dry tire for the final time, it's just not gonna bode too well. And it looks like, as I glance over to the chat, PHG's Veteran is wanting to see somebody do a one-stop, but is a one-stop even viable, Oak?
I don't think so, because you could take the hards all the way till the rain starts, with depending on what car you have, but you're certainly going to have to get off the wet tires once it dries up. So definitely at most a minimum a 2-stop strategy.
Yeah, and we're going to get a replay of that battle for P1 between McNaughty and Mr. Casual, because they are just fighting as close as possible. Got wheel-to-wheel action. Coming into the hairpin, they are literally too wide, and it looks like McNaughty's got the advantage for the most part. But I mean, with how Mr. Casual's taking these corners, get a little squirrely, a little overlap, but they kept it in the right direction. Mr. Casual is able to keep that McLaren pointed in the right direction and is able to hold off that Lamborghini. And Mr. Casual is sending it up the inside into the Casio Triangle, just barely getting ahead of McNaughty. They are duking it out, but look what happened as a result. You got Ecstasy throwing his hat into the fold, who can battle for race lead now by either, trying to overtake McNaughty or just let those two slow each other down so much to where Estacy's going right on by. And will Estacy be able to capitalize and overtake Mr. Casual, or has he just stepped into the boxing ring with a very angry bear? And it looks like Estacy's able to pull away from McNaughty. So coming into the Casio Triangle again, we're going to take a look at this from Estacy's perspective. And yeah, they're just up close. They've slowed each other down quite a bit, and Estacy's just able to try and get the overtake done. He's got quite a bit of slipstream right there, and McNaughty realizes that Estacy is trying to slingshot past him as he and Mr. Casual go off to the line on the right. But unfortunately, McNaughty overcorrected or realized it a little too late, as that momentum was already there and Estacy was able to get the overtake done. So, fantastic. Oh, and Estacy's at P1. How about that? So, I guess the battling just cost him a little too much, but we've still got 8 laps left. So let's see what happened. I guess it happened a little further back. But, yeah, Estacy's able to try and pull away from these two duking it out, and now it becomes a question of, do we cooperate to get up to Estacy again, or do we duke it out as Mr. Casual borderline drifts it coming into Spoon and into the braking zone? Is he gonna have a repeat of that, or is he gonna keep the car on the track? Well, as on track as possible, given all the moisture here. And McNaughty runs a little bit wide. I don't know. I can't tell if they're just having really close racing or if that was a squeeze. Yeah, these two are having a dynamite race right now. Like, this is the kind of racing that we need in GT7 as a whole. Because, I mean, if this were a daily race, Mr. Casual or McNaughty would have, should they have been El Rando, would have sent the other one off. But, this is a league race with standards, and these drivers actually have brain cells so they can properly race, as opposed to what you would see in a daily. Because, Oak or TKs, if you want to unmute yourself for the stream, would either of you even attempt any of this in a daily race with somebody you do not know?
It's certainly a battle of, since you don't know the other racer and you've never raced against them, sometimes it's definitely hard to tell what a driver can pull out of their bag, either pass or a dirty move. It's certainly, daily races are a bit of a wild card. times, but if you're able to keep it nice and clean, I think those daily races are really enjoyable sometimes.
All right, and that's a really good perspective. Now let's take a look at what's going on with Corn. Oh my God, Cornbread's got a conga line right behind him. We've got Elzo, we've got Evolved, we've got Shelled, we've got everybody under the sun back there. Like, one wrong move is going to cost Cornbread or Elzo or Evolved. Like, you cannot afford to make a mistake right now, because you will lose 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 5 positions if you go off track. So it is in everybody's interest not to have a bit of a shunt and just try and survive this rain, which, by the way, does look like it is going away. So the intermediates are going to start coming into their own now. And it looks like Evolve tried to make the overtake, but couldn't, and is actually losing several positions as a result, just like Elzo. That's what I was talking about. You're losing all of those positions over mistakes such as this. And as we take a look at Corn Identity coming into the hairpin, he's got the opportunity to take at least 3 positions should he get a good run, but he's on those wets, which are now failing. Taking a look at the replay, let's see what happened here from this perspective. And yeah, Elzo goes off, and Evolved and T-Rex arms are slowing him down. So he's got nowhere to go. He had the overspeed, but just didn't have the room to capitalize on it. So this is, like, fantastic racing, all things considered. Coming out
it's getting to the point in this race where those intermediate runners will be an advantage, or maybe even switching off intermediate and going onto the slick tires. If those intermediates have enough wear, you might want to consider stopping pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh wow, this track is actually drying a lot faster than I anticipated. I mean, those curbs are still going to be soaking wet, and Cornbread is hopping off of the wet. So we've got our first person changing over into the dry compound, but is the track dry enough to afford one of the drier compounds, Oak?
I think now, this time, I think it might be worth the risk, but if you've got to just stay off the curbs. Those curbs are deadly, and especially that pit exit, where it's still full wet territory. Let's see what Pablo and Cornbread can do.
I mean, Pablo had no choice but to change tires. Like, make no mistake, Pablo had no choice, and getting onto the softs with that pit lane, I don't know. I don't think I could successfully do that. That is also a testament to my lack of driving skill, but I mean, Oak, you could probably do it no problem. TKs could do it no problem. Oh, hello, what have we got here? All right, so Mr. Casual and McNaughty have overtaken Ecstasy. Ecstasy must have had an incident, or Mr. Casual and McNaughty just cooperated enough. So now we're borderline 3 abreast coming out of Spoon, and they are just right up on each other. Those wets are starting to deteriorate like crazy. Ecstasy on the intermediates. Oh no, Estasy's on the wets too, and yeah, he's on the wets. So the only person with an advantage right now is Mr. Casual, but will it be enough of an advantage? Oh, and Miss Naughty is getting very squirrely, runs a little wide, but is able to keep control of the car. How are you people doing this? How are you guys saving the cars like this? I beg of you, please tell me, because I could not. Could not on a boat. All right, McNaughty and SSC are in the pits. Mr. Casual is staying out because he is on the intermediates. So he's got half-life on those intermediates, so he'll have to box within the next lap or two. And now it begs the question of, will McNaughty hop on the softs? Will he hop on the softs? Please tell me he does. Because I want to say I called the strategy.
That Lamborghini is certainly able to hold on to the softs for 6 laps, seeing what they were able to do with the hards.
All right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I just want to throw out STC and McNaughty have taken the softs, which means I have called the strategy for McNaughty. Pay up. And we've got Evolve still on the intermediates. Banana hopped on the mediums, which might actually have been the safer bet because those softs with this tire wear are a glass cannon. And looks like Jazam is on the racing hards. So, wait, didn't Jazam already do a stint on the hards? Or did he double stint medium? No. because he did mediums. He had to box. So, I don't know.
I think he ran the medium strat towards the beginning of the race, and then decided to do his required hard stint now.
Okay. Mr. Casual is definitely in a spot of bother right now. 15-second lead over Estacey and McNaughty, but those intermediates are absolutely done. Now, since the track is drying, those curbs don't have enough time to dry before the race is over, do they, Oak?
No, towards the end of the race, these curbs are still very deadly, and they will get you.
Yeah. I don't know if... I just don't know, because you've got the track drying out, you've got the softs, and yeah, I guess it... Well, no, I don't think GT works like that, where if you're on the... like, say you're on the softs, and you go dip your tires onto the wet line, would that help preserve your tire life by cooling them off a little bit, or is the tire model not that sophisticated to where you can actually get away with realistically doing that?
So this is kind of the thing where if you're on the wet tires.
Oh, and STC's doing it.
Yeah. So since those wet tires are a little more sensitive to heat, getting off the line and going onto that wet line is certainly cool down your tires quite a bit. And it seems to work with your tire life, so that's what most drivers tend to do.
Because I know hydro dipping is a legitimate strategy used in, real life racing where, your tires are getting a little too hot, so you dip them in dip two of them in the grass, or you hit a wet line for a couple seconds to, cool the tires a little bit. But I wasn't sure if PD's tire model was advanced enough to really do that. But then again, they also don't give us the in-game telemetry to actually show us what our tire temps are at to help us make informed decisions. But what I can tell you as an informed decision is the battle coming in at the back of the pack from Corn Identity all the way up to T-Rex Arms and all the way back to Elzo is stupid close. And we've got so many opportunities for overtakes here. We've got so many opportunities for some amazing moments. We've got opportunities for heartbreak. It's a gamble right now as Elzo just barely holds on to that. Oh my god. Oh, that Ferrari. Wow. Coming into the hairpin, we've got T-Rex Arms on a wet line and Shelled right there. Will we see the old switcheroo? They're keeping it in the dry line as best as possible. And yeah, T-Rex Arms is able to hold on to it. So yeah, we're going to be seeing some great battling back here, but we also know there's going to be great battling up at the front. So it's hard to see, it's hard to tell who we should focus on because there's just so much going on right now. Coming into Spoon, we've got T-Rex Arms and Shelled just doing everything in their power to avoid the curbing. And, Corn just glanced that curb and immediately got off of it. So, great wherewithal there. Corn Identity is just overtaken, T-Rex Arms coming into 130R. And will T-Rex Arms be able to do anything? Nope. And, These tires... Soaking wet curbs, 130R, Casio Triangle. I think these are the two spots where you are most likely, and Degna 1 and 2. Those are the three spots you're most likely to bin it for the next 3 laps. So, I don't know. Will it come down to car control or who wants it more in terms of using those curbs to try and get the extra pace?
I think it's Oh, sorry. Was that for me?
Yeah, it was a legitimate question, but I saw SSC hop onto the curbs coming out of Degna 2, and I thought that was going to be all she wrote.
Yeah, it's certainly more about car control. Just trying to stay on that dry line is definitely a mission in itself. So you really have to push it enough, but not overdo it where you're bouncing all over the curbs and taking all that wet line.
Yeah, so it's okay. So car control will be the name of the game here. Now, as we take a look at Zam, who is in P6 at the moment on those racing hards, honestly didn't fall back as far as I thought he would. And as we keep an eye on Shelled, Corn Identity, Elzo, and couldn't catch the name. Evolved and T-Rex Arms. They're still duking it out back here. And I mean, honestly, if I were in this race and I was at the back of the pack, as long as I'm having racing like this, I don't think I'm really going to care that, you know, Ooh, T-Rex Arms is way off. Ooh, is he going to be able to keep it, though? Nope, off into the gravel in the 4C. Can he get back on track safely? Barely, but yes. So that's going to set Evolved up for the opportunity to get the overtake on T-Rex Arms. And will he do it before 130R, though? The track is quite dry right here, and it looks like, yep, Evolved is moving past him like he's standing still. So will Evolved clip the curb? Barely. Ooh, looked like ooh, and we got a yellow up ahead. Who binned it? It looks like it was Corn Identity. No! Can we please get a replay? Oh yeah, thank God for ghosting there. So let's see what happened here. Corn Identity's coming into 130R. Looks like missed his braking zone a little bit. Goes off into the wet, and yep, that's what I was talking about. 1 or 2 degrees off, and it's over. Very unfortunate to see. And who kicked that 100 board? Oh well. So that's unfortunately going to be a battle for position over for Corn Identity, as he is now over 7 seconds behind P11. STC and McNaughty are now duking it out for P1. We've got 2 laps left, so we're on the Tetra Ultimate. Oh, good lord. I knew the actual word for this, and it'll come back to me in a minute, but yeah, they're duking it out. So it's really looking like we've got a good battle here for the race victory, and it's going to be going until that checkered flag waves. Oak, do you think we'll see STC hang on, or do you think McNaughty's got enough in him to get the overtake done on those softs?
I think McNaughty certainly does have an overtake here. He just has to be really careful going onto that wet line and risking spinning. So he's got to do it with care and caution to make that overtake stick.
All right, then, yeah, there you have it. It's going to be a very close race, and honestly, I can't imagine a better battle here for race victory. STC is doing everything he can to hold off McNaughty. McNaughty's pretty much following in STC's footsteps, doing the hydro dipping and trying to take the line. I think McNaughty's probably just trying to... Yeah, I think McNaughty's just trying to get a better exit and try and win on sheer pace, which is a very valid strategy, but STC's a little bit all over the track at the moment, so I don't know if McNaughty can make a move this lap and make it stick, then we'll be good. Also, I just remember the word that I was thinking of, and you know, third to last is antepenultimate as McNaughty goes past STC. Don't know what happened there, but McNaughty now takes the race lead once again. Now, STC just spun. Okay, so let's see if we'll catch what happened there. So coming into Dunlop, it looked like, nope, he just lost control of the car. I think STC got a little too overzealous, and I'm hoping that we can catch that unfortunate series of events and gets onto the curb. And was he able to save it? Why you gotta tease us like that, PD? He was able to save it. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, so for those of you just tuning in, hi, how's it going? Toon here, as well as Oak. We are on the penultimate lap for the second split of the final round in regulation of PHG GTWS, and we have had quite a bit of really, really amazing racing. And as we see Cornbread, Sheldologist, and PHG Mazudge go in and try and battle for P6. And I think I could hear TK's giggling or coughing on that one, so I don't know if that was good or bad. But coming up into Spoon, we've got Sheld trying to keep up with Cornbread, as this is going to be make or break for any last points. And yeah, this is the last points giving round, is it not, Oak? Or last points giving split?
Yeah, so this is the final race of the regular season. So these drivers are really trying to battle for positions here, trying to make up as many as they can before they head off to the finals.
All right. And it's only splits 1, 2, and 3 that award points to manufacturers, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the last points available split for the final round. And it's looking like McNalty's in prime position to really cement the lead for Lamborghini, if I'm remembering the standings correctly. But I might not because Jorge's in split 1, and you're also in split 1, and you guys are in BMWs, and you hate anything that's fun. So, yeah.
The BMW is also
Oh,
fun to drive.
Then why don't you drive? Wait. My question for you guys in the BMW, I know we're on the last lap. There's a battle for P1, but I gotta ask. Did you guys do the endurance model or the sprint model, or is there legitimately no difference?
So the sprint model tends to turn a little better, but it has a little worse tire wear. It's certainly really close between those two cars, but depending on what kind of race you're running, I think it really depends on if you want more turn but less tire life, or more tire life but less turn. So it all really depends, but there's little bits of difference here and there.
Okay. Jorge is unsure himself, but I mean, that's between you guys, your BMW teammates. But S2C goes way off into 130R, which will definitely cement McNaughty winning this, lest there be an unfortunate incident within the next 10 seconds. And it looks like there's not, so McNaughty will take the race victory in fantastic fashion for Lamborghini and across the line. That will give S2C P2, and it looks like Banana and Mr. Casual are going to be having a very intense battle for the last bit of this race. Coming through the Casio Triangle, please, for the love of God, get back to these guys. All right, and looks like Banana is going to take P3, but just. So that could have been worse than it was. So let's see what happened here. Coming into 130R, we've got Mr. Casual trying to catch up to Banana. Banana went wide and having wet and dirty tires. Looks like Mr. Casual tried to avoid anything, but just outbroke himself a little bit, and Banana was able to reclaim and hold on to P3. Pablo Chacon will take P5, and Jazam will take P6. Cornbread is going to be in P7 with Shelled in P8. Looks like T-Rex Arms will take a confident P9. Elzo will finish in P10 with Evolve confidently in P11, leaving Corn Identity to round off this race. There was a lot going on for that one. Oak, what'd you think of the racing action we saw in this split compared to the other two from yesterday?
I really like how these drivers were able to keep it really nice and clean. I liked how drivers were able to have a little bit of a comeback, some of them. And I really liked the pace that was shown overall in this split.
I did love to see how they were able to keep the racing so close. But let's take a look at the provisional standings for Split 2. So taking P1, gaining one position, will be McNaughty with an overall race time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, 59 seconds, .891. Coming in P2 will be PHG SC, followed by behind by 2 seconds. Now I should throw out, none of these guys on this screen have the fastest lap, so we'll have to see who took the honor of that. Rounding out our podium will be PHG Banana and the BMW M6 GT3 Sprint, followed by Mr. Casual and the McLaren 650S, with Pablo Chacon representing Team Lamborghini rounding out our top 5, followed by PHG's Mazudge and Cornbread in P7. We've got PHG Sheldologist coming in P8 with the GTR Nismo, followed by T-Rex Arms in P9 in the Alpha 4C, with Elzo rounding out our top 10. We have Evolved in P11 with Corn Identity taking P11 or P12 and the fastest lap at a 2:01.879. I'm actually shocked to see the fastest lap so far down the grid, but I mean, there's got to be some sort of benefit for getting fastest lap, or is it only for the top 10 in fastest lap?
They get a bonus point.
All right, and also according to Shaggy over in the chat, Jazam actually just gave Citroen their seat in the finals. So, didn't expect that. Well done to Jazam. Oh, with all that, went up to... Do I need to relay that, or did the stream hear that? Okay. So I'm getting word from TK that Jazam did start in P last and gained 7 positions up to P6. And Pablo Chacon started in P9 and gained 4 positions to finish P5. So, like, that's a really big shakeup. Wouldn't you agree, Oak?
Yeah, that certainly a great improvement by both drivers, especially in those types of cars they are in. I liked how they were able to make their way past the field, even with some mistakes shown by Pablo Chacon. But overall, I think they did a really nice job today with getting back through the field and find their way up the grid.
Yeah, that was a great hustle from both of those drivers. But with all of that said, any closing remarks, Oak? I'm getting word we need a driver of the race too, so we'll do driver of the race and closing remarks. How's that, Oak?
Yeah. So, like, with that being said, who do you have as your driver for today?
See, I'm going to need a second to think on that because we saw great battling. We saw fantastic hustle from McNaughty, and Mr. Casual had just dynamite racing. We saw Jazam and Pablo Chacon make a bunch of positions up. So it's hard to find something that stands out enough to give me a concrete answer on my driver of the day, because I know the obvious answer would be like, oh, give it to McNaughty for, doing what he did, gaining a position, having fantastic battling throughout the race, and securing that win. And Mr. Casual say McNaughty's driver of the day. So, I mean, I could definitely see the argument there. But did anybody expect somebody starting in P last to gain 7 positions and, on a relatively odd strategy, no less? And I don't know. And Shaggy saying Mr. Casual for fuel saving, and Mr. Casual saying it's hard to beat Maka in the wet. So, we've got everybody's opinions for driver of the day coming here, but really it's driver of the split because we've still got another split for today. Give me McNaughty. Give me McNaughty for driver of the day.
That's always nice to hear. I'm going to go with today. I think I might end up going with Pablo Chacon today. Only because he did end up, I think, spinning earlier in the race, but it was really nice seeing his comeback and pulling through in that Lamborghini. I think he kept it nice and clean from going forward from his little spin. But I think it was a great racing today by everyone. Everyone kept it nice and clean, even with the little mishap in the rain and the dry, slick tires. But I think overall everyone did a fantastic job in this split today. And yeah, we're on a split 4.
Yeah, we are on a split 4, which means we'll have an intermission. And when we come back, there will be split 4 and probably some different faces. So since I know I'm not going to be here for split 4, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoy the rest of the broadcast. And with all that said, stay tuned and we'll be back with split 4. Love you all.
Engines scream through the neon finish line's just a metaphor. Chasing horizons, the thrill won't wait. Racing the future, it's a twist of fate. Every second burns, no time to waste. Chasing horizons, feel the endless chase. Chasing horizons. Engines scream through the neon haze. The road's alive in a fiery blaze. Ties whisper secrets to the night. Speed's the language. Shadows take flight. Chasing horizons. The thrill won't wait. Racing the future. It's a twist of fate. Every second burns. No time to waste. Chasing horizons. Feel the endless chase. Metal beats roar like thunder's cry. A flash of chrome as the seconds fly. Wind bites hard, but it fuels the flame. Every turn whispers my name. Chasing horizons, the thrill won't wait. Racing the future, it's a twist of fate. Every second burns, no time to waste. Chasing horizons, feel the endless chase. The stars blur, the lights ignite. We're outpacing time tonight. Grip the wheel, let the echoes soar. The finish line's just a metaphor. haze. The road's alive in a fiery blaze. Ties whisper secrets to the night. Speed's the language. Shadows take flight. Chasing horizons. The thrill won't wait. Racing the future. It's a twist of fate. Every second burns. No time to waste. Chasing horizons.
Welcome back, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well and had a nice little break after that very exciting Split 2 race. This is the final round and final race of the regular season of Season 2 GT PHG WS. I am T-Case, and I am joined by Mr. Casual, and maybe we'll have Toon coming back, because that would be nice. We are here for the final race. We've had some very exciting racing. Mr. Casual, you just did an amazing race for us. Tell us a little bit about your experience in that race and how you're feeling now.
So with that race, unless I was like somehow magically on pole, I was always going to start on the hard tire. And then I had worked out that I can just about make it to when the rain comes. So I knew before the race I was going to fall back. So I was like, okay, I knew. So once I knew that, I knew my time would come when the rain got there. And so managed to do well enough, I would say, before the rain got there. And then once the rain got there, it's like you seen how bunched up a few of us got, like me and McNaughty, and then eventually SSC. It's like, yeah, credit to the other two. It's like none of us inadvertently door jam.
Yeah, it looked. I mean, there was definitely some rubbing, but it all looked like good racing. So that was really awesome. Let's real quick, because it looks like they're trying to get qualifying underway. Let's go ahead and take a look at.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and take a look at this split here. This is the final split, Split 4. We have RSR Zilla in the Lexus, Metal in the Nissan. We have Angry Fredbird in the Genesis, Speed Bump in the Honda, BHR Fernando Button in the Corvette, PHG It's Just Carl in the Genesis, T Calvert in the BMW, and Dirt McGirt in the... Oh, it doesn't say. Oh, they're reserved. I see. So we have some people who might be hopping in. We'll see.
Dirt's in the Lambo.
And I see we have Geezer Gears is in here in the Ferrari as well. Very awesome indeed.
Beavis is here as well.
Yeah, Beavis in the McLaren. We'll take a look at the round info just in case. All right, round 9, Suzuka full, 30 laps, 4 times tire, 3 times fuel, which we saw is a big factor. Racing hard's required, Group 3 cars, and we know it's gonna wet. We have a song queued up for when it's wet. And looky here, we have our good friend Toon back to save me, because if you guys can't tell by my voice, I ain't feeling so good. So I'm going to let Toon take over, and I'm going to mute myself, and you guys get a treat of hearing Toon one more again.
My condolences, chat.
What? Okay, fine. I see how it is. But hi, how's it going? I lied to you guys, apparently. I'm back yet again. Did you miss me? I missed you. So, yeah. T-Case, you rest up. You're sick. I got this. Mr. Casual, pleasure to have you here. And Oak is doing Oak things. So it'll just be Mr. Casual and I, from what I could tell. So, yeah, we're off to Split 4. There is no point distribution for this split. And this is mainly just for fun. So if you want to take a crack at this, with no pressure on, oh, am I going to help my manufacturer? Am I going to deter my manufacturer? Then by all means, lobby's open. Just please hurry in as soon as possible so we can get this going without a hitch. So with all that said, let's go and refresh our memories on what the race details are for those of you that may just be tuning in. All right, so just like Split 2, it is Suzuka full circuit, 30 laps, 4 times tire, 3 times fuel. Racing hards are required, and it's got to be a Group 3 car. If you've been participating in this league for the entirety of the season, or you jumped in like mid-season or anything like that, you have to use your manufacturer-specific Group 3 car. You can't be, signed with Ford and then jumping in a Toyota because you realized you picked a Ford. So there's none of that. But if you're just jumping in, I'm pretty sure you could pick whatever because your points aren't going to matter for this split. So with all of that said, we're going to have rain at about lap 17 to 19. And it's going to be a huge shakeup. This is going to be a game of strategy. It's going to be a game of who is going to really survive under the pressure and really who is really willing to make those high risk, high reward moves. But with all that said, let's go and transition on over to the split lineup one more time. So again, we've got Zilla, Metal, Angry Fredbird, Speed Bump, Fernando. It's just Carl, T. Calvert. We've got reserve seating for Dirt McGirt, Beavis, Johnny Boy, Beans, and we have around 2 to 3 open slots for anybody that wants to come in and just have a fun race on Suzuka with drivers that actually know what they're doing.
We also have Jimmy K9 from CBR. He's going to be in this race as well.
We also have Jimmy K9. So yeah, about 1 to 2 open spots. So if you want to come and take a crack at this and maybe, get a sampling of what the PHG GTWS is before the next season, whenever that is, now's your opportunity. So we're going to try and have a fun time. And Mr. Casual, who had a fantastic race with McNaughty last split, will be able to give us a ton of insight because it was definitely a coin toss between those two, which we'll get into all of those details, later on throughout the race. But Mr. Casual, since you are here, how are you feeling like physically and mentally after that intense race you had?
Well, it helps that in my area of the world, it's actually cool for once. It's like mid-70s instead of like 90 something. So that helped. But even still, I was sweating a few gallons throughout that race. So like, especially during when McNaughty and SC were looking away around me because I had focused in during that as I do see that we have qualifying going on, but like we have taking a look at everyone's livery for Split 4, but since I'm looking at lithograph comics, guys, you didn't know PHG actually has a sponsor, and it's Lithograph Comics. It's not a store, but an enthusiast. So thank you to, what was his first name?
Greg.
Thanks to Greg for sponsoring PHG, being its very first sponsor. But Lithograph Comics isn't a store of enthusiasts. You can find him on Instagram or by scanning the QR code in the bottom right corner. And he's been following comics, I think it was like 30 years?
35.
35? Not too far off. Not bad memory there. But once again, always, thank you kindly, Greg, for sponsoring PhD. And we wish you nothing but the best going forward.
We hope to see
pretty
your.
good.
Yeah, it was good. We hope to see you sponsoring future seasons, and yeah, we can't thank you enough for being the first ever sponsor for the PHG GTWS. And yeah, if you guys are interested in comic books or learning little obscure facts about, comic book collecting, comic book series, comic book culture, anything like that, definitely check out Lithograph Comics on Instagram. The Instagram page is on screen, or you can just scan the QR code and it'll take you right there. Now, taking a look at the drivers doing their hot laps, we've got Dirt McGirt in a Wu-Tang livery. We've got Robson in Pepto-Bismol. I hate Pepto-Bismol.
Hopefully he won't need it.
Yeah. We've also got Beavis in a comic book themed car, and got Beehive Racing.
Cool.
We've got Jimmy K9 CBR in a Ritz cracker livery. I'm partial to Ritz's and summer sausage with a little bit of sliced cheese. We've got It's Just Carl in the Genesis with a I Can't Tell livery. I think it just says Lithograph Comics on there, so representing and showing some love for the sponsor of this PHG season. Got Speed Bump in a... Is that the Corvette? NSX. That's the old NSX, okay. In the old NSX with a Stand Up to Cancer or F Cancer livery. Yep. Showing support for Jersey. We've got Fernando in a very, very shiny PHG livery. What else have we got here? What's T. Calvert rocking? T. Calvert is rocking a more true-to-life BMW livery, and by that I mean it's the stock BMW livery.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Angry Fredbird in a nice red and black... Yep, nice red and black livery. Papa's House of Game on the side of it. We've got PHG Geezer Gears in a F Cancer livery. See, and I think that covers just about everybody, honestly. So this split will have 10 drivers. We've got qualifying underway, and yeah, split 4 is just for funsies. So it's low stakes, low pressure. You're just here to, say you did the race, really. It's an exhibition race in the grand scheme of it. And coming into turn 1, we've got Geezer Gears sitting in P4 in the standings and going off. Does that count as a curse? That is up for you at home to decide. Because at this rate, with all these curses, I am now Mr. Voodoo. Or something. Y'all can come up with a fun nickname. I'm doing 2 impromptu stits of commentary. Leave me alone. Now, coming into Dunlop, looks like Speed Bump was able to get it back on track just fine. And really, since these guys have had the luxury of seeing how the last 3 splits, or at least one at a minimum, went, it's, I don't know, do you think there's going to be stuff that they adopt, or do you think they're just going to come in here and just try and have fun since it's a no points available race?
I imagine they'll probably, take some notes, when the rain actually gets there, but kind of depends on your personality, really, because, but you might see a little in between. Like maybe they'll try hard at the beginning, but if they make a mistake, they might just take it easy afterwards. But just really depends on the driver and their mentality, really.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. No point in crying over spilled milk.
Yeah, if I knew I couldn't make any places in the manufacturer standings, then I would be like, okay, I'll just do it for fun.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, league races, yeah, there is that bit of competition in there, but at the end of the day, league races are also just for fun. It's very rare you have a league that's offering, a substantial prize, be it monetary or trophy, anything like that. NRL coming later this year, maybe you should sign up. Where'd that come from? So it's really all about having fun and having a grand old time. And with the state of GT and the state of, how the BOP is, the penalty system, insert X, Y, or Z complaint. I think just league racing in general is just a breath of fresh air. Like, points or no points, just go have fun. Race against people that you can actually trust, and don't put too much thought into it. We got Jimmy K9 going into the pits, so changing off those softs and probably putting on fresh softs. Got Beavis coming in and currently sitting at about a 203.467 for qualifying. Can't really complain there about that time.
Oh yeah.
Got Dirt McGirt setting a new personal best. And it looks like Robson is going to be leading the qualifying for a good portion unless Carl comes in and sets a staggering lap. But, I mean, Suzuka is definitely a rhythm track, for lack of a better term. You got to get into that groove to really awaken that muscle memory to capitalize on everything. I'm trying to find a way to eloquently explain, because it's one of those things like you just know. When you're racing it, you just know.
It might surprise you, but I actually don't really race Suzuka all that much. I'm not like a lot of people who are really into F1, so when there's that F1 used track, they're like, heck yeah. I'm like, okay, I guess. So
I don't follow F1 myself either, but PD shoves Suzuka down our throats. So if you're doing dailies, you're more than likely racing on Suzuka multiple times a year.
Interlagos.
Or Interlagos. Good God, they shove Interlagos down our throats. That and Spa.
Of course, me and T-Case are impartial to Spa.
Oh, I love Spa. Love Spa, but, it's one of those things that it could be too much of a good thing.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why I don't actually play GT as much as I did, say, back when GT Sport was around, because it was like still new to me, and I wasn't used to their recycle combos. And I was like, ooh, fun. And then I'm like, boring. I was like, oh, hey, I might try this out.
Next.
Yeah, because I'm very much a person that needs to be, my mind needs to be, its curiosity peaked. Because if it isn't, then I won't bother.
And here comes a shameless plug for hashtag TCase Lobbies. TCase Lobbies, every Tuesday night. We do something different, we do something fun. Y'all come join us.
Winner picks track, so there's a bit of stake in there.
And
but yeah, honestly, TCase Lobbies are fantastic fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's getting to the point where people make it their mission that I don't win. So
We got Carl going off.
Yep. Carl had a little adventure there, but yeah, it's getting to the point where people make it their mission. I'm like, all right, make sure Mr. Casual doesn't win.
When I do the TCase Lobbies, I see Auxiliary Brain, 5,000 credits, and oh god, who else? It's normally like one of three names winning that, so it's you got the odds-on favorites. So you don't have to be the fastest, but if you want to pick a track, you got three people you got to beat, four including Mr. Casual. But since people make it their mission to make sure he doesn't win, we'll just count three.
But yeah, we get some fast folks in there, and depending on the combo, some weeks we have more people, other times it'll be kind of quiet. It just varies from week to week.
Yeah, but I mean, that's also just the nature of any organized events, especially on a weekly basis. You've got that added security of knowing that they're there every week. And so you can afford to, miss one or two because, hey, life happens. You get busy, you got work, you got kids, you got family, you got everything else under the sun. And, I mean, make it or don't make it, the one thing you can, know with 100% certainty is every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Central? 7 Central. Thank you. I'm on the East Coast, so I keep saying 8 o'clock. At 7 Central, there will be a T-Case lobby. And if you decide you want to partake in the T-Case lobbies and want to know ahead of time what the combination will be, please feel free to join the Case Motor Speedway Discord, where they have a T-Case Tuesday channel set up just to tell you what the combination is and also pitch ideas. But I'm going to stop rambling and get on to these classified qualifying results. That sound good? Fantastic. So, we've got Jimmy K9 CVR taking pole position with a 202.446, robbing Robson of his 202.792 pole position by just a little over 0.3 of a second. Coming in P3 will be Geezer Gears also with a 202, but a 202.955. Making our way down the order, we've got Fernando Button, and it's just Carl rounding out our top 5, followed by Beavis in P6, Dirt McGirt in P7, Angry Fredbird in P8. Over in P9, we've got Speed Bump, and rounding out our qualifiers will be T. Calvert. So all in all, this is going to be a laid-back split, laid-back commentary to match the vibe. I mean, this is just for funsies, so, I mean, if you want Tune going at 100 miles an hour, let me know. If you don't, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy a cup of tea. But all in all, we had a very relaxing qualifying session. Nothing really to, stress out over. Everybody's here to have a grand old time. And we'll pick Mr. Casual's brain on, his thoughts on the Split 2 race. And also maybe, turn this into an impromptu interview through bits and bobs of it. And we'll ask him not only about the race, but also his experience with the season as a whole. So if any of you have questions for Mr. Casual, please drop them in the chat, and I can relay them to him, or he can read them, whichever one works best. So, any predictions for this fun race for this round?
I'm looking at Robson's Porsche, which should be a pretty good shout. Also going to keep an eye on Geezer Gears since he's in that Ferrari, because Ferrari is pretty good, as I think we're about to have a race start.
All right. So, looks like the race will be starting. Everybody's lining up. So, how did C-Dubs come up with that song? Did he find it, or did he write that? Oh, okay. He did what Cold Blight does? Okay.
Okay.
All right, but anyway, they are off. We've got Jimmy K9 leading the charge right now, coming into turn 1. Temporarily sunny skies here in Japan. And looks like Robson is already trying to catch up. We did not see a Porsche in the last split, did we?
I don't think so.
Whoa! And Geezer went way off. That was an electric slide into the S's. Can we get a replay of what just happened there? I'm curious as to how that happened. See, Geezer Gears jumped down to P10. All right, so coming into the S's, we've got Geezer Gears in P3 getting side by side with Fernando. And it looks like there was just a bit of overlap that unsettled the car, and yeah, it just slid right on off. And
Ouch.
hats off to Geezer Gears for the safe rejoin. I'm pretty sure there's ghosting, but I mean, always better safe than sorry. You never know when your car is actually going to ghost or not. Coming in. Oh, and Beavis, what is going on here? I know it's a fun race, but doesn't mean turn it into Wreckfest 2, which is available now, by the way. Not sponsored, but if they want to throw some money at me, by all means. And that drops Beavis down into P10. Yeah. What happened here? Casual, you want to walk us through it?
Looks like he went a bit too wide and clipped some grass. Since this isn't a lawnmower simulator, he went for a ride. As stable as that Macca is, it's not impervious to the occasional spin, as you see.
Yep, no car is spin-proof, and I would... honestly, if somebody told me a car was spin-proof, I would call them a liar. Also, I'm noticing the Charmin on the Pepto-Bismol livery, and the toilet humor's not lost on me, but Robson definitely binned it. So, what happened there? As Robson falls into P9.
Ooh.
All right, coming
Yeah.
into Casio Triangle, went wide into 130R, getting on the anchors, dirty tires, and kissed the wall. Ooh, back end got a little up there too.
Yeah.
Uh,
It looked like he tried breaking at the normal point, which you can't really do with dirty tires.
all right. Unfortunate sequence of events. Given the Pepto-Bismol and the Charmin, you could call it a crap move. And Jack Skellington is calling the vet spin proof. Jack, you are a liar, a traitor, and no one shall shake your hand. So that propels Fernando Button into P what? Things I never thought I'd have leave my mouth. Fernando Button is in P1. Wow.
I know
I'm gonna need a
Sal's going to be happy seeing a vet leading the way.
I mean, yeah, there's that. But just Fernando is on the mediums,
Yeah.
and Jimmy is right behind on the hards in his Lamborghini.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a Lambo.
in the Lambo.
Lambo's
Okay.
got pretty good pace in the dry. It's just it's hit or miss depending on the driver once it gets to the wet portion.
Coming out of Spoon, it's looking like Jimmy's actually got quite a bit of pace, and he is keeping up with Fernando. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know what all has changed with all these bop changes in the extended period I've been away from GT7, but how is the Corvette overall, in a non-biased opinion?
It's not terrible, but it's definitely not like a meta car like a Genesis or maybe a Supra. It's very much like most of the cars. It's a very situational kind of car, where it's
Okay.
not terrible, but I wouldn't say it's great either.
It's not your first choice, basically.
Yeah, more or less, unless you're someone like Sal.
Yeah. Sal, Jack, Fernando, somebody that just for some reason likes Corvettes. But does the Dodge Viper have any relevance or no?
Viper, yes. So Viper, at least the Group 3 Viper, it has very good acceleration. It's not as great in the top end, but its acceleration is awesome.
All right. And apparently Vetter Dan is also a fan of the Corvette, so we can add him into that camp. As we jump on board with Geezer Gears in the Ferrari behind Angry Fredbird, which, by the way, Angry Fredbird, great guy. Not even gonna lie to you. Had a great time hanging out with him when I was in St. Louis. Like, awesome time. But taking a look over at Beavis, who is trying to catch up with the rest of the pack. Coming out of the hairpin, and it looks like he's gonna have to try and stop Robson. Robson did take P2 in qualifying, so he's got the pace to get back up the field, but will he have the time to get back up the field? That is the real question.
Yeah. The bright side about Robson is he's on the hard tires, so he could have faster tires at the end of the race.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Fernando's going purple in that Corvette. So, coming into the Casio Triangle, he's got about a second of a gap between himself and Jimmy K9. So, if Fernando plays it safe, which should be interesting to see, he could hold on to P1 for quite a while, at least until the rain goes. But those mediums aren't going to last until the rain, unless he takes a page out of McNaughty's book. And didn't you do like a one-stopper before the rain?
No. I managed to send my fuel to the point where it started to rain a little bit, and so I didn't need to do an extra stop like I think McNaughty did, because I think he did a stop like 3 laps before the rain came.
Yeah, because he did the mediums. He hopped on his hards to tick that box before the rain came in, hopped on the wet tires, and then finished the race on the soft. which, by the way, still called it. Still waiting for somebody to give TK some channel memberships. Don't be greedy. And Dirt McGirt is in P4 right now with the Lamborghini. And it looks like he's not really gaining any pace on Carl at the moment. So I think Dirt McGirt is just taking a relaxed pace for this. And, I mean, nobody will blame him. If there's anybody... Oh, and we got one kiss in the wall. Was that Robson again? It was.
Yes.
What on earth happened there?
I bet it's the exit curb that got him.
No,
No, not
power
even.
oversteer.
Yeah. Because I had a few
just-
moments I had to be careful with the exit curb, so that's why I was thinking maybe, but no.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate sequence of events. The Porsche is definitely known for its power oversteer. And what to you, dear old Mr. Casual, is a good way to actually save the car? Because we saw some insane saves from drivers in the last split.
I had one moment where the curb on the right after 130 yard tried to grab me. I was like, no, please don't do that. It kind of just goes back to not over driving the car too much, because it's when you really push the car, depending on what manufacturer you're in, that can either help you or bite you in the rear. So it's like, that's the benefit of the McLaren, is you kind of need to push that car to get pace out of it. So it's situational on what car you're in, but as you see with something like the Porsche, is like it can bite you in the tail if you're not careful.
Okay. So, how much of it comes down to your car choice, and how much of it comes down to driver ability? And also, how much of it comes down to picking a god that'll listen and pray?
Probably a little bit of everything is the right answer, but it's like some cars are just more naturally understeery as opposed to something, say, like Porsche, which is still a stable car, but it's definitely a car that's not shy about power oversteer. Because with the McLaren, it's a naturally understeering type of profile. So it's like kind of depends on what you're comfortable with. That's why, me personally, I prefer a car that understeers. So that way, I know what it's going to do. Whereas cars that oversteer a lot, while it can help you get the rotation, if you don't keep it under control, it can throw you for a loop.
We can throw you for a big loop, yeah. Both figuratively and literally. As we jump on board with Beavis, what do we got here? Oh,
Ooh.
and
Yeah, that little snap
just
there.
saved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't tell if like that's pure driver skill or luck, because you'll see people make saves that they shouldn't have, and then you've got people that can't make a save when normally they can. It's just, I don't know. It's saving a car is very hit and miss, but I was hoping there was like a definitive strategy into making that car stay in the right direction. Because you got people that say, oh, you need to lift and, you know, turn against the spin. You've got people that say you need to turn into the spin. And then you've got people like Hako who are spinning and still keep the foot like just planted to the floor and keep it going.
I will say, if you have a car that's prone to oversteer, sometimes keeping the car in a higher gear when you're going into a turn can help keep it a bit more stable. So that's something that you can try doing.
Okay. Now, do you play any other racing sims other than GT, or is this like your bread and butter?
Up until last week, this is the only one I really played. I do play Wreckfest 2 from time to time, but I managed to get Le Mans Ultimate and its DLC for 25% off. So I kind of been here and there dabbling in it, trying to get used to the cars in that game.
Did they put LMU on console, or did you get it
No.
on PC?
PC, because I definitely have a, not best of the best, but a pretty high-end PC rig.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a pretty decent rig myself, and honestly, I got many race sim like AC, ACC, R Factor, AMS2. The only thing I don't have is iRacing, and that's because I don't have enough time to go and do iRacing, so I don't want to pay for a subscription I'm not using. I already have a gun range membership that I'm not using that I need to like either start using or go and cancel.
But yeah, I'm just like at the point of trying to get used to, for the most part, the GT cars. I did briefly try LMP2. It's a work in progress for that, but I haven't tried all the GT cars yet, but I'm making my way through them.
All right. Since we're touching on LMP2 and GT cars, what's like the biggest things that stand out to you between like the Group 1 and the LMP cars and like the Group 3 and the GT3 cars between both the games? Like, what does one do better than the other? What do you think the other can learn from? Like, what are some key takeaways?
You definitely have, unless you're doing a fixed setup online race. I haven't done any online races yet, but I know there are those on LMU. You definitely have more things to adjust, like your TC. I forget some of the other stuff, and your brake bias. That's not just like positive or negative. 1 through 5. It's like the actual number. Like it's a lot more intuitive on LMU because it's kind of like iRacing in that sense. Whereas it helps if you have someone that knows how to set those things up. But if you don't, you can try looking on YouTube, see if anyone's put any setups out there, or you can buy setups. Since on the PC side, there are setup shops that sell their setups.
Yeah, like Coach Dave Academy.
Yeah. Speaking of Coach Dave, I watched his video last night, and he was kind of going on over the comparison of the tire model between LMU and what was it, iRacing? Because he actually gives feedback to the dev team about LMU. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Ooh, an unfortunate half-second penalty for Jimmy K9. Well, I mean, he's got enough of a lead right now to where it's not really going to matter too much, but still.
Ooh.
He just took too much. The Casio triangle giveth, and Casio triangle taketh away.
Oh,
now, I would say, like, what's the difference in the tire models, but
he was actually. I was going to say, David. He was actually talking about it's like, what kind of tire model are you trying to do? Because he mentioned in the real world racing that he does, I think it was when he was racing the 296 at Nords, the Yokohama tire. He said if you compared it to the sim, it felt like you were cheating. He said that Yokohama tire felt like it had like 1.5% grip than a normal sim, whereas he talked about the Goodyear tire that is a good balanced tire, but it doesn't like multiple inputs in a turn. Then the last one he talked about was Pirelli.
That actually does raise a big question. So I'm pretty sure PD still has that partnership with Michelin, so all the racing tires and all the road tires are Michelin's. Am I correct in saying that?
I think they actually are. I don't think the Michelins are. I would have to double check, but I think I've seen something about Michelin.
But what if PD added different tire manufacturers into this? So say you have your racing softs that are Michelin's, you have racing soft Goodyears, racing soft Yokohamas, Pirellis, Firestones, insert other tire manufacturer here.
I guess they don't have multiple different tire, because I guess they would have to technically pay a license to have their tires in there, unless It's like a Michelin that actually sponsored them. So I'm thinking that's probably why they don't have like actual official multiple different tire brands. Because it'd
And I
be
get that.
fun.
I get that, but you also have to think PD racks up a bunch of money as is from sponsorships and deals, and they're not using it to get licenses for new tracks or GT cars. So they actually went and added another manufacturer to Gran Turismo, it would honestly take the strategy for, tire choice for endurance races such as this to a whole new level, because it'd be like, okay, yeah, pick the racing softs. Okay, well, which softs are you going to take? Because those tires would have a different tire degradation model because they're different tires. Like they're the same compound, but they're made differently. And so you could say Fredbird is in the Genesis on a set of Pirelli Racing softs, and then you could say like Evolved was in a Genesis on Firestone Racing softs, and you'd have two totally different outcomes, even though the same car, same setup, is just those difference of tires, where the cars would have their own inherent tire biases for wear. The tires themselves would also play a factor, and then it would actually add another level of depth to your overall racing strategy for races such as this, or if they did hour-long races. And even if they just added, like AMS has a thing where it's the airflow for your brake bias or something like that, where you change a setting and your brakes get hotter and stay hotter longer, and like they get cooler. Like if PD took that kind of stuff into the setups for the race, oh, game changer, absolute game changer. But
apparently about 4 months ago, I'm looking at Reddit, a person was asking why, if there was a reason the Michelin brand tires were suddenly gone. And one of the commenters said, the update post mentioned them updating partners and in the process reverting to GT original tires.
One step forward, two steps back.
Yeah, because I remember, because I've talked about in past rounds about Genesis used to be part. They're no longer. So I'm wondering when the correct. So I'm wondering when the other shoe is going to drop and Genesis gets a nerf, because a lot of people always speculate, myself included, that if you're a partner, then you do pretty well in this game. Because look at Toyota.
Yeah, every time the GTWS is rolling around, Toyota gets a stupid buff.
It's like, what the heck? And I've been around for long enough to know when the Toyota was essentially a rocket ship.
Yep. Also, Blue Crab speed bump is in the old NSX. So,
fun fact about Hondas is if it has Type R in its name, then it's a race car, and only race cars get that designation.
But it's a straight legal race car.
But yeah, like more or less. But yeah, that's something that I eventually learned. I think it was from one of the cafe missions, and it involved Honda, and it said that only cars that certain cars get the Type R designation. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I do like that they have the Type Rs. My problem is, like, I want a hot hatch, so I want like a sporty Civic or like a Golf or some along those lines. So the way they redesigned those Type Rs for the Civic, I do not like it whatsoever. Like, that rear is atrocious.
Yeah.
But anyway, I should remember that, or should remind everybody, we are still commentating on a race, but it is a fun race, so it is just casual conversation, more akin to what you would see on, like, TV, for the most part, where, they have conversations while the race is happening, keep everybody entertained and engaged and all that. And if you have any inputs for, like, the state of PD or, motorsport or anything like that, chime in. we'll gladly chat with you. You know, we're not up on a pedestal. We're just normal sim racers that just talk. So anyway, so Robson's up in P7. Jimmy K9's down in P8. I think Robson won't be able to fight any further up the grid before the rain comes in, because those clouds are starting to roll in. The hards are already at half-life. So that rain is... I don't know, that rain's going to come before Robson can really make any magic happen. But speaking of the rain, do they have rain on Le Mans Ultimate? I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, I haven't done any rain practice. I'm just trying to get the grips with the cars on that title. But yes, there is rain, and it's not like PD where, there's no rain in Qatar because it never rains. It's like, there's rain everywhere.
Yeah, it rains everywhere. It's the world. It makes me raise an eyebrow when I can't do Watkins Glen in the rain, or, you know, Interlagos. Actually, is there rain on Interlagos? Because I know none of the North America.
No. Because any track in North America doesn't have rain. As silly as that sounds.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. We appreciate the kind words. Always happy to be of entertainment, and you look good today. All right, Robson's up to P6. Carl's up in P1 with a 20-second lead. Also, words I thought I'd never hear leave my mouth. What is today? What is in this cup of tea? Yep, it's Yorkshire, but what on earth? Fredbird's in P2. Okay. The captain of Casual Laps is in P2. Carl's up in P1. Speed Bump's in P3. Beavis is in P4. Fernando's in P5. Robson's in 6. We got a CBR shootout for 6 and 7, and Robson is... yeah. Then we've got Calvert in P10 and Geezer Gears in P9. What is this race?
I don't think Carl's gonna be able to make it to when it's raining. He's just under a quarter tank, whereas Angry Fredbird in second has just a quarter tank. So he's got a little bit more fuel than Carl. That NSX that Speed Bump's driving has quite a bit more fuel than Fredbird does. Okay.
Yeah, it does. Now, I do want to ask you a question about, like, your experience with this season. So, obviously, it was you qualified for your splits and all of that, and, you know, everybody's going to have tracks that they're great at and qualify for split 1, tracks they're not great at, go into split 2 or even split 3. What to you were tracks that you excelled in and tracks that you weren't really the best at, that you felt like you could have done better on?
For me, it's like I kind of fluctuate. Most tracks I can drive well enough. Oh, you see, Angry Fredbird's going in.
Yep, get off those hards.
But it's like I generally do better with wider tracks. That's probably why I love St. Croix as much as I do, because it's basically one of the widest tracks there is. But
I just hate the way they designed it.
Yeah. So I have noticed that I do tend to prefer wider tracks.
Okay.
But I can do narrow tracks like I did last week's race at Brands. But it's like, it was more the car that had me going down the order than myself, because Brands is a track that you need acceleration, and that's not the Group 4 McLaren at all. But I was okay for the most part. But yeah, places like Spa, even though I don't race Suzuka all that much, you see I'm pretty decent here as well. Nearly made top split. I think I only missed top split by like a tenth or two. Other tracks I like, well, I already mentioned St. Croix tracks. Yep. I kind of like the I love Le Mans.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that track. I do like the Sardegna tracks. Really, any of the layouts, I do all right at.
See, my issue with St. Croix, it's basically somebody said, here's a ruler, here's a pencil, draw a bunch of straight lines and sharp corners and make it a track. Like,
yeah, like
St. Croix has stupid lazy design.
I might have been on your naughty list if you had done the TK's lobbies this past week, because I had us doing one I think it was layout C in reverse at night.
Oh God.
And so I had
that just sounds stupid.
and so I had us doing that, and TK was like, who the heck knows where they're going? And funny enough, I was the one that knew where to go.
I feel like that's just an unfair advantage.
But yeah, it was like, because we were in the Bodie, well, there were other cars you could do, but we were using the new GTR Skyline. And so that one's like, I think we were using the stock tire, so that was force mediums. But yeah, it was interesting to say, but I don't always win St. Croix races. So, but yeah.
So it's not like TK's in Spa where he somehow always wins.
Yeah, TK's will tell you. I was like, yeah, he used to always win, and now he's got people that like that never chill. You might think I try hard, but I was like, shoot, when we get our testers in, they usually are the ones that win. So, because I usually can't be bothered to test a car.
That's fair. I've been trying to set up my own league because people have been asking for it. I just can't be bothered to go and do all those tests. Like, I've got some ideas, and it's like, okay, well, this sounds like a good idea. And then I'm also sitting there like, do I really want to spend 5 hours on one track testing a bunch of cars that might or might not make the cut? Or do I want to go do something else? Come to find out, doing something else always wins.
That's why most of the time I don't even do the weekly time trial. On occasion, I might, but I'm not really a time trial kind of person, unless it's something pretty fun.
That's fair, though.
See, Jimmy and Speed Bump through 130R.
Ran him wide, but not as wide. Yeah, we ran him wide, but not as wide as he could have. So that was actually a very lucky situation.
Yeah, about as well as it could have gone, all things considered.
Oh, that was a little dodgy. That was a scrape by.
I don't. I don't think it's.
It gave him a receipt, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, and I mean, he didn't get nudged enough to consider it a push to pass, but I mean, I guess that was about sending a message. Carl, on the other hand, needs to go into the box.
Yeah, he's lap 15, so Rain should theoretically be getting here pretty soon.
Yeah, in the next 2 laps.
And not entirely sure how much fuel that low red is. That might be like maybe a lap and a half, or maybe under a lap.
All right. Let's see. Are you operating the camera car for this race?
I'm.
Okay. Just wanted to see if we had. All right. Just wanted to make sure. See, so we got Fernando in P4 right now. Looks like he's kind of in a nice little groove here. Him and Beavis in 4 and 5. You got Speed Bump and Jimmy up ahead. So I mean, there are some opportunities for overtakes, but I just don't know, like, how imperative it is to not make a mistake at this point.
See our leaders in.
Yep, he had no choice but to go in, though. Jimmy is able to keep going.
So I imagine Carl, Not sure if he'll do what I do, and since I had pit before the rain actually got there, go on inters, or if he'll try to brave it on the wets. Yeah, hard to say.
It is. And there's really no right or wrong answer, it seems, between the intermediates and the wets. So
I see he did the same thing I did. It fueled up all the way, and he went wets.
yep, but since we still got about another lap and a half or so before the rain fully comes in,
Yeah,
those are going to be hurting by the time the rain comes down.
yeah, that's why I
So-
went inters so that I wouldn't lose as much wear.
And it looks like Dirt McGirt is leaving his blinker on.
It don't really bother me if people leave their if they leave their blinkers on, but I know it does annoy some people.
I don't mind if somebody leaves their blinker on, but it's one of those cases of like, why is your blinker on? Like, how did that happen? And how are you not noticing that your blinker is on?
But yeah, it don't really bother me all that much.
I don't know. Maybe a lot of this is personal preference. Ooh, Fernando sending up the inside. A little scrape by, but doesn't look like there was any harm in that. So well done,
Okay.
Fernando, for getting that overtake and making it stick, no less. So taking a look at the replay coming into Spoon, Fernando had the inside, just a slight nudge, really nothing to write home about, and was able to get through. Now, if
I
this
just
were
seen
daily,
on Carl's car, the wipers just came on,
all right,
so
rain is coming
rain
in.
should be getting here.
And honestly, that little nudge, if this were a daily race, that would have been a 5-second penalty for forcing a car off track.
Sometimes you don't even need to make contact.
No, literally. Billion-dollar company, can't get a penalty system right. So Speed Bump
Yeah.
is staying out brazenly,
Okay.
and we've got Jimmy, Fernando, and Beavis in the pits. Beavis definitely needed the box.
Yeah.
Looks like Geezer Gears is going into the box. Fredbird and Dirt McGirt are staying out. Carl is obviously going to stay out. So how is this going to shape up, though? Because the rain is already hitting a portion of the track, and if the last split is any indicator of what could go wrong, some of those guys are going to be trying to limp the cars home in a torrential downpour. Now,
Yeah.
I'm noticing on the start of lap 17, we don't have any rain at the moment, but probably once you hit maybe 130R, Spoon, maybe even outside the hairpin, the rain's going to start accumulating. So it's... oh.
That was cool. Yeah, I don't see anything on the meter, but Robson's in 5th place, overtaking
Fernando's
Carl
off.
and Fernando just went off. Robson's on the mediums, so that's why he's got a lot of grip right now.
See, still no rain. Maybe it was just a glancing blow of rain. And
Because I
Orm was
see
here?
some raindrops on the windshield, but it's not too heavy at the moment.
No, it's not. So maybe our front runners will at least be able to get into the box and avoid any drama. Front runners
Now
being
it's-
speed. Never mind.
Yeah, now it's starting.
There's Rainmaker. Let's just let it play for a moment. Do you guys mind turning it up a little bit?
I don't know why, but the sky is always bright. Every time Shaggy sets the stage, he lines up the lobbies, the cars all shine. But here comes a storm, right on time. Oh, Rainmaker, why you gotta pour? We just want the track dry. Nothing
I'm just letting the song play for everybody at home.
Yeah, I'm watching Carl at the moment.
through the lane. Shaggy, my friend, you're bringing
I think speed bumps is going to have an advantage because speed bumps got brand new wets while it was wet, whereas Carl's got half a wear on his wets.
Yeah, like I said, those are going to be hurting.
No, speed bump died.
All right, people, buddy. Rainmaker. All right, what happened here? Okay. And power overs here.
Yeah, got it.
Maybe it's luck, maybe it's fate, or maybe Shaggy's laughing at our state.
Mr. Duncan, I want the metal version too.
Why you gotta pour? We just want the track dry.
Just some good old boys racing around the track in Japan in the rain. Yep, that's the vibe this is giving.
Flashing through the lane.
Yeah, Fernando's doing good. He's in
You're bringing the rain.
second place.
I don't know if Carl's going to be able to really benefit from the wets.
Those died quite a bit before that rain got here. So Fernando's
That's his deal.
one had pretty decent.
But one day soon we'll outsmart the sky.
Yeah.
Leave the rain.
I mean, Fernando is in a beneficial position right now. Carl, not so much. Like, he had the right idea, but I think just maybe overdrove those wets before the rain fully came down. Like, it seems like there's an art to pulling off really good bad ideas like that, to where you've got to be delicate with the tires. That way, you're in a more advantageous position once the rain really starts coming down. But then again, I could be talking on my backside because I'm just an armchair expert that talks to all of you.
That's why I went with Inters when I went in, because the rain hadn't gotten there yet. And I was like, well, Inters will die a little bit, but probably not as much as wets would. Because I wanted to do wets, but I'm like, it's too early.
Yeah. The inners would have been the safer bet, and it looked like the inners really had better longevity.
Ooh.
Oh!
While we were
User
riding
Gears
with User Gears,
drifting.
doing a drifto, Carl had a moment at the same time. He didn't die, but yeah, he managed to claw it back together.
Those Half-Life tires, yeah. Oh!
Yeah.
Well done. Good save.
Yeah, I think if his tires weren't so used, it would be a bit more stable, but yeah.
Alright, so that's definitely going to give Fernando a sizable lead.
Mhm.
And then the question becomes, how much of a lead will he accumulate before the track starts drying out? Will it be just a few seconds and he'll still have to battle for position coming out of the pits? Or is it one of those like Mignotti where there was a 26-second gap and everything was smooth sailing?
Yeah, plus it'll depend on how comfortable is everyone getting off the wet tire and going on to the slicks.
Oh yeah, that too. That's a big
Because that's
factor.
something I've struggled with in the past, is over driving the car and then driving myself into oblivion.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like over driving yourself and, you know, been in the car, it's all part of the learning experience.
Because that's something that I struggle with in the early days. It's like, I had the pace, but I just needed to rein myself in. And that's can be easier said than done, more often than not.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fernando's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah. Yeah, Fernando's in a really good position. Looks like that gap between him and Carl is only growing, so the difference in tire life is definitely coming into play. And it looks like Speed Bump is chipping away at the gap, but I don't know if Speed Bump will be in a position over the next couple laps to be able to capitalize, as Geezer Gears is trying to send it and
Oh,
narrowly avoids an utter catastrophe.
it's quite the yeet by Geezer in that Ferrari.
Yeah. Let's see. So we're going to get another look at this. Coming into turn one, yeah, just broke
Oh, yeah.
a little late and really just like glided out of harm's
I
way.
bet that was a cold brown, if nothing else.
Either that or there was a very adrenaline-filled battle cry after that.
My goodness. So, okay.
All right, coming in. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Coming in Dagna 1, and will Geezer Gears be able to get around Speed Bump? Oh, no.
No,
Maybe. Hold up.
it's going for
Hang
it,
on.
or at least looking. Ooh.
Oh, Andy. Ah! Ha ha ha. What happened here? Okay, so chase cam
Okay.
coming up into
Let's
the
see.
hairpin, side by
Looks like-
side.
Understeer? Yeah, kinda.
Lost a. I guess got thrown a little off balance and then overcorrected?
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know. It's tricky to tell. But that's why we have stewards for that. But then again, I don't
Yeah.
know if stewards do anything for split 4. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, so the gap between Carl and Fernando is actually going down a tiny bit, but it's still a 6.5 second gap. So it's unless Fernando pulls a Fernando, I don't think Carl will be able to catch up right away. But we do have a nice little pack right here between Beavis, Fredbird, and Speed Bump. All right, so are we
Yeah.
going to have a drag race down the start-finish line? No, we are not. So looks like Fredbird's going to be holding on to P4, but will Beavis try and make a move up the inside into turn 1? No. Good thinking.
Yeah.
All right, and according to Jack, stewards look at all incidents reported, so good to know.
Okay.
And see, Fredbird coming up into the S's is holding off a train of Beavis, Geezer Gears, and Dirt McGirt. And also has Speed Bump right ahead of him. Let's see if Fredbird can get around Speed Bump and get a podium position. A little bump on the backside from Beavis, trying to say, get going.
Yeah, Fernando's gap to Carl is now over 9 seconds.
Did Geezer Gears just rally cross to overtake Dirt McGirt? That's what it looked like for a second.
Let's see.
Okay. Alright, so no. Okay, it was
Ooh.
okay. Rally crossed and stayed ahead of Dirt McGirt. Okay, so it wasn't like oh, you have to give up the position kind of thing. Alright, so we got Fredbird in 5th, Beavis in 4th, Speed Bump in 3rd, and they're all on the back of Carl with the worn wets.
Yeah.
Wow, those worn wets are really doing him some harm because that gap between him and Fernando is now 10 seconds. So, can Carl hold off losing 4 positions? We'll
Yeah,
have to find out.
Keeping an eye on Beavis, personally, since he's into 650. As
Yeah,
you've seen
that-
in Split 2, it's like, even if you're only average in the wets, that McLaren is pretty good in the wet.
The Carl is holding them off for right now, but
Yeah.
that's just slightly over a quarter of a second gap. So, I mean, oh, and he's gone. Oh, hey!
Minor excursion.
But will it be
Still-
a half-second pen?
Seems to be okay.
How
Yeah,
in God's name did you get away with that?
I think the penalty setting is on weak. I think if it was default, it probably would be a pen.
The 1 second track limit infringement that we saw in Split 2 for going over the line
Ooh.
begs to differ.
Speed bump going
and
for it.
Speed Bump got it. Is Beavis next? Is Beavis going to be next? Nope, guess not.
Not quite.
Oh, Carl's getting a little squirrely.
But yeah, Beavis is definitely looking for it.
Yep,
If he
Beavis
can
is
find
trying.
it.
Yep. Rain has stopped, and it looks like Geezer Gears is also trying to get around. Carl is just parking it. Yeah, he is making sure they do not get around him without absolutely fighting for it. Almost to the point of trolling. And
he's got
Beavis, ooh,
Might
too
have it.
wide. Yeah, but Carl's got the inside
Uh-oh.
line for Degna 1. So, unless he can
Ooh,
trick
ooh.
Carl into outbreaking himself. Oh my god, are they still going to be too wide? Nope. Beavis gets it.
He managed to get it done. So
He did.
well done to Beavis.
That was a risky situation, but hey, he made it work. So now it's Geezer Gear's turn. Will Geezer Gears get around Carl after the hairpin? No.
No.
But we also
Oh.
have Spoon coming up.
I'm wondering if Carl's going to try and box as soon as he can, because he's just hemorrhaging time right now.
Oh, absolutely. And with Geezer Gears in the position he's in, honestly, I don't even think he has to wait for Carl to box.
Yeah.
Because if Carl goes off again in 130R and, Geezer Gears, Fred Bird, et al. Are able to capitalize on that, then it should be smooth sailing, but it will cost Carl 3 positions at the same time.
Yeah.
So we got Speed Bump coming around 130R, Beavis coming through, and Carl was able to keep it on track. Casio Triangle, though, all's not out of the woods yet, and never mind. We're good.
Yeah. Question will be who's going to be the first to blink?
Yeah, it is a staring contest. All right, start finish straight. Slingshot overtake on anybody? No. I guess not.
Okay.
But yeah, that track is
Yeah.
drying, and given the fact that Carl has half life on those wets, he's going to be losing even more time and position once the clouds go away.
Looking at the wet meter, I think he should actually box this lap.
It is the Renominator. Now,
I'm looking at it because it's right there.
Yeah, because they're pretty much in dry territory now.
Okay.
And Carl and Geezer Gears. Oh, a little nudge off, and Beavis and Geezer Gears are off. Beavis loses more than Geezer does. And let's see what happened here. Okay, so.
Looks like he done something that I did at least once, maybe even twice.
Oh,
Yeah,
just outbroke
go
himself.
wide. Yeah, I think I done that maybe twice in my race, but thankfully I didn't go too terribly wide, but wide enough. All right.
Yeah. Wide enough to slow you down, but not enough for it to be catastrophic.
Okay.
So if we've got Carl back in P3, Fredbird's in P4. Track is dry. Carl's tires are cooked.
Yeah. There.
Carl's gonna have to pit. There's just no way he's doing another lap on those. And even 130R here is gonna be a stretch.
As
Coming in, and off he goes.
Okay.
So will Dirt McGirt or Fredbird capitalize? No. Carl is just avoiding the penalties with that one. And a big bump in the backside from Geezer Gears. And into the bar.
Carl, as we're cutting away, both Carl and Dirk McGirt went in.
Okay. So taking a look at the replay, send it up the inside.
Yeah.
Good overtake there from Dirt McGirt. Casio Triangle. And no drama there.
Let's see.
Okay, so those two are getting off their wets. Probably hopping. All right, we got mediums and hards.
Yeah, he's being really careful since it's like, you gotta be careful.
You got no choice but to be careful. That pit lane's
I crank up the
dangerous.
TC when I went in for my slicks.
Yeah, I was doing a Super Formula League like year before last, and we had Suzuka and it rained. I cranked my TC up to 5
Yeah.
and like feathered the throttle, but I still spun out.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's annoying. You're like, dang, have it.
Yep. But oh well, not the end of the world. So now we got Dirt McGirt and Carl on mediums, touching, and Carl's gone because he touched the curb. And Dirt McGirt was able to avoid that, and Carl did what now? One more time. We got chase cam of that.
Yeah, you gotta avoid curbs like the plague when it is wet like that. But see, as he
Alright.
cuts in. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yep, and 1, 2.
That's
How did he?
that's basically what I did on the final lap, but I went off a little bit more. So, well played.
Yeah. I mean, that was good. Fernando's got a 10-second gap, so I think he's going to be losing a position if speed bump doesn't go in.
Yeah, speed bump's going to need to go in.
Yep. Redbird's going in.
Redbird.
Geezer's in. Beavis is staying out.
Okay.
And Robson's staying out.
Okay.
Robson's really trying to make up. Well, yeah, Robson can get away with it, but Beavis is on the wets.
Okay.
Oh, looks like Geezer had 9% fuel too. Luckily, it could be just a splash and dash. And Dirt's turn signal's still on.
See, speed bump. Oh, who was that?
Yeah.
Oh, Fernando.
What happened?
He didn't die, but he got a pit lane pin.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
So yeah.
All right. What's going on here? And there's Fredbird. There's speed bump.
Just ahead of Carl.
Yep. But just.
Oh, T. Calvert in 9th place spun, so there was a yellow flag.
Whoa. Oh, he tried. He definitely tried.
I mean, we are in Japan.
We are. But I mean, he did everything he could to save that, and I think Calvert's just gonna kind of decompress for a moment. Robson is gonna have to box like now.
Yeah.
Then Beavis, oh my god, Beavis definitely needs to. How'd he get his brake bias to where it's uniformly wearing down the tires, though?
He's probably doing this same brake bias I was. I was using +5.
Okay. So that's to the front, right?
Rear. Cause,
Rear? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Fernando had a bit of a moment there at 130R, but he's still pointing the right direction, which is what matters.
Yep. And it looks like Fernando is actually going to be able to get the race lead again, even after the 3-second pen. So Fernando's got to, count his blessings or something.
He was going to have to keep an eye out on speed bump behind him. Speed bumps is on the soft tire.
All right, but I mean, there is a 5-second gap, and I know there is a pretty big difference in time, but I don't think Speed Bump will be able to go and catch up to Fernando within like the next 2 laps, unless Fernando's.
Yeah, so far you keep saying it, but he's doing pretty well so far.
This is honestly the best I have seen this man race ever. Like, full credit to Fernando right now. This is the best I have ever seen him do. And I am actually waiting to see if he can carry that momentum all the way to the end. Because I remember the days of NRL Season 2 where he caused a half-grid pileup at Monza.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a fun one.
Yeah, speed bump, it's got it down to like 4 seconds. Now it's under 4 seconds. Whereas it,
Oh, what happened to
Ooh.
Carl? He touched curb, didn't he?
let's see,
Okay.
did he try touching grass?
Let's see. Nicks the curb. Nicks the curb again. And third time's the charm. Good night, Irene.
Yeah, he tried to get on the power too early there. If he waited just a little bit longer, I think he would have been.
Yeah, I think he got on the throttles like maybe a split second too early. So Fernando's got a 4-second gap. Speed Bump's got a 4-second gap in both directions. And Robson is on the soft. So, I mean, if by some chance Robson and Fernando can, or if Robson and Speed Bump can keep the pace up, they could catch Fernando in the next 4 laps. And, I mean, hats off to Robson for making up so many positions, especially after that horrendous incident at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, he's had a few mistakes here and there, but he's managed to make the most of it so far.
Why is Carl's... Why are your wipers on?
He probably turned them on.
Who maps Who maps the wipers to their wheel?
Yeah, I know some people do, since you can map the wipers.
I mean, VR, sure, that makes sense, but like... You have the automatic wipers. Okay. Okay, you know what? Sure. It's split 4. It's just for fun. Don't overthink it too. And, oh my God, Beavis. Okay. Don't do that. Carl on the curb, Beavis on the curb. Are they going to be able to keep it in a straight line now? And Beavis right up on Carl's bumper on that one.
Yeah. Looks like Carl's kind of struggling on staying away from the curbs.
Yep, and he's also on the hards while Beavis is on the mediums. Let's see. So with Beavis and P6, a little over half a second behind Carl. Yeah. Beavis is going to get an overtake done.
Yeah,
Now,
he should be able to at some point. It's just finding the right time and place for it.
Ooh.
Okay.
That destabilized Carl a little bit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really had to come to a stop there since Carl's braking point was earlier than Beavis.
Yeah, it's just that tire difference.
And I see Robson's caught up to Speed Bump. He's only like about 3 to 4 tenths behind, while Fernando's extended his gap to just over 5 seconds.
Speed Bump's gonna be able to catch Fernando.
Yeah, he was for a little bit, but I guess he's made a few mistakes maybe here or there. Nothing too disastrous, but yeah, it was under 4 seconds for a bit.
Now the question becomes, can Speed Bump bait Robson to put the tail-happy car onto the curb?
Because I think Robson's Porsche should have the acceleration. It's just, can he get close enough to force Speed Bump to go defensive and compromise him?
Coming into Spoon, this is a good overtaking opportunity. Oh, on the anchors, and Robson very elegantly avoiding the curbing, so good on him for that. Good wherewithal of the track. And I mean, Speed Bump's doing a great job holding them off.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Just going to give him
bump.
a little bump.
And the wiggle cost Speed Bump P2, but Speed Bump is on the inside, so
Ooh.
he only had a small sampling of being in P2.
Oh,
And
no.
there goes, tail happy car on the curb.
Yep. Yeah. He got a little too friendly with that curbing.
Yep. I think I've gone from I don't know if that was a curse or me being a fortune teller. Because, yeah, Speed Bump got Robson to get the tail happy car on the curb. I don't know, was that a curse or a fortune telling? You guys figure it out.
Yeah, that's why until it completely dried, I was more or less trying to stay away from the curbing. Because usually those are the last to dry out.
Yep. And with the length of this race and when the rain hits, there is no time to let the curbs dry out.
Because while the wet level might be dries, those curbs sometimes can be all the way in heavy wets.
Yep, that they can. So now we've got Calvert and P9. Currently a lap down, but nothing wrong with going for a drive. At least, you know, hats off to Calvert for sticking it out through the race.
Yeah. He could have just parked it, but he's powering through and continuing on.
Yep. And now we've got Fernando coming through Spoon on the penultimate lap. Oh, nope, didn't touch the curb. We're fine.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's pretty spread out at the moment. Unless someone makes a mistake, it's looking to be a little spread out.
Just a teensy bit spread out, but it'll be A-okay. All right, so as we're approaching the final lap, it looks like everybody's kind of slotted in. I don't really foresee any real change-ups.
Yeah, because closest is for fourth. Carl's behind Fredbird, but Fredbird's on the soft while Carl's on the hards. So I don't think he'll be able to catch Fredbird unless Fredbird makes a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't foresee Fredbird making a mistake at this juncture, but hey, it's motorsport. Anything can happen, as we see Fernando in P1. And yeah, definitely gotta stop saying anything can happen, because stuff like this happens, and then
I think at the rate we're going to have to give driver of the day to Fernando.
Yeah, we are.
Voodoo.
Yeah, because, I mean, that was a very dangerous game. I don't know how he kept that in the right direction. So, yeah. Like, if Fernando can keep doing this and finish the race, then, yeah, he definitely wins. So, let's see if he'll be able to do it. It's on the curb right now. Actually, the curb's not in that dangerous of a position.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it looks like they dried out enough that you can start using them.
Okay. Well, everything is hunky-dory. Ooh. All right, he's staying off the curb. He's got one more set of curbing to deal with, so... All right. And...
There we go.
Okay, well, butter my keister and call me Sally. Fernando wins.
I guess Fernando made it his mission.
Yep.
See Speed Bump with a respectable P2.
very respectable P2, and not for the lack of trying, mind you, and Robson did a great job fighting his way back up the field.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to pick between Robson and Fernando.
Yeah, that is a tough call because Robson did a good job, like, fighting his way up, but for Fernando, everything just fell into place. Oh my God, Dirt McGirt, turn off your blinker! All right, Geezer Gears coming in P8, and T. Calvert's just having a nice time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, all that said and done, yeah, that's good. Robson, valiant effort. Fernando, good job. All right, yeah. Fernando gained 3 positions.
Mm-hmm.
So, Carl, what do you mean talking crap? Calm down. It's not that serious, you big crybaby. So, looking at the provisional standings, we've got Fernando taking P1 with a total race time of 1 hour, 6 minutes, 27 seconds, .691. Speed bump coming in P2 by 12 seconds. Robson coming in behind 14 seconds, rounding off our podium. Fredbird in P4 and coming in just a little under 3/4, or a little under 3/4 of a second ahead of Carl. We've got Beavis in P6 with Dirt McGirt in P7. Geezer Gears rounding out with P8. And T. Calvert will be rounding out our finishers as we unfortunately lost Jimmy K9, which don't know when that happened, but oh, he started 9th?
Yeah, we're here.
Wow, that is a okay. That's another driver of the day contender then, because yeah, that's impressive.
Jimmy said in the in-game chat he didn't have wets.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like I've nearly done a World Series race without wets. I think it was like a couple minutes before it was going to start. I was like, "Oh crap!" So I've done that almost, but thankfully I haven't had like that yet.
I'm trying to think if there's ever been a time when I was in a position where I didn't own the wets for a car. I think it legitimately happens to everybody at least once.
Because I usually use cars that I use most of the time, so by default I usually have the tires. But I've come close a couple of times.
Now we've got a 3-way bout though for driver of the day, at least in my book, because you've got Fernando who gained 4 positions and had dominant lead. You've got Speed Bump who climbed all the way up the field to P2 from P9. And then you've got Robson who started up at the front, fell all the way back to last, and then fought all the way back up into P3. So out of all of those, which was the most impressive feat?
Probably, I think for me personally, it's Robson, because he definitely didn't have a perfect race, because it was like a roller coaster race for him. It's like he probably, if he had a decent enough race, he probably could have challenged Fernando. But
Definitely.
I think to go up and down like that, and then to still finish as high as he did, I think for me personally, I would end up going with Robson.
Okay. Yeah, I could honestly get in the camp of Robson. And like with what Robson had happened to him and then fighting all the way back up, it does bring up a couple what if scenarios. Like, what if he hadn't had that incident? Would there have been how big would the gap have been? Would we have seen Fernando and him duking it out for over half the race, like with you and McNaughty? Yeah, it's just so many possibilities. And I mean, going from first to last to podium, like, that's not something you can accomplish every day. So while what Speed Bump did was incredibly impressive, he didn't have to deal with the issues that Robson had with, getting up to a position, losing it, and then going back. And I mean, Fernando was just running away with the race, and that's always like, it is impressive, but when you pick a driver of the day that's just the winner, it's also low hanging fruit. So we got to take a look at the merits. Like, hats off to Fernando. Like, not a doubt, like, not even a sliver of sarcasm. Fantastic job to Fernando on getting the race win. But yeah, I think, Robson, because that is a testament of perseverance and skill and probably a good portion of luck. So I guess for Mr. Casual and I, it's Robson. Chat, what about you guys? See, I'm seeing Fernando for Shaggy. I've got Brigsby saying Robson. And yeah.
They'll put Shaggy will put up a poll, I'm sure, in the Discord for everyone to make their final votes.
Yep. So if you're not in Papa's Discord, think about joining Papa's. You can join that through the website, right?
Yes, it's all there, pinned in the chat, and I've unmuted myself too, so they can hear me as well.
Okay.
But yes, pinned in the chat is the website. Y'all go check that out. Toon, man, thank you so much. Y'all need to thank Toon as well. You couldn't hear me during both races, but Toon, Oak, and Mr. Casual could, how much I was coughing and sneezing and all that stuff. So be very grateful that Oak and Mr. Casual and Toon were able to join us so y'all didn't have to hear my sick voice all afternoon. And big thanks to Slow Mo yesterday as well, coming in and filling in the spot. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, not a problem, man.
And again, thank you everyone. A lot of gifted memberships, a lot of super chats, super stickers, whatever you call those things. Thank you all so much for the support. It means a lot. You know us here at the PHG crew. We're great racers, but better people. And that continues on. Our thoughts go out to Papa as well and Susan. We know they've been going through some stuff, but I believe they are able to get home already. So that is great news. Awesome to see the community show up for Jersey as well with all the pink liveries. That was fantastic. So really proud to be a part of this stuff. Thank you guys.
Yeah, but it also goes to show that being like a decent human isn't like based on team affiliation, because you had what? CBR, you had MMR, you had BHR, PHG, you even had independents coming and showing love for Jersey, and everybody else. Like, it doesn't take much to be a decent person.
You just have to try. Literally all you have to do is try. And that's doing so much more than the majority of people out there. So just try to be a decent person, and odds are you'll get there. But I'll let you guys go ahead and sign off before we run the credits.
All right. Love me too, Carl. So, Mr. Casual, is there anything you would like to say, closing remarks?
Hope everyone enjoyed these races this weekend, as this was the final regular season of season 2. So now you're going to have 4 rounds of finals coming up. So that should be prove to bring out the best out of. Not that this season hasn't brought it out yet, but looking forward to see what the next month of finals races is going to be. But hope you all enjoyed the racing today. I've certainly enjoyed myself.
Happy to hear you've enjoyed yourself, Mr. Casual. All right. So, with all that said, the last regulation points accumulating I don't know how it works. Listen, I've been taking a step away so everybody else can take a crack at commentary. That's why I have not been here, along with being busy. It is just so anybody interested in doing commentary can come in and take a crack at it and see if it's something they want to pursue in the future. But this will probably be the last you hear from me for the rest of this season, unless they need me to fill in like today. So with that said, coming from me, it's been an honor to entertain you guys for the last 3 hours. And please show all the love and support for TK, Sal, and the commentators that come in for broadcasts after this. And with all that said, be good to each other, stay safe, and we love you all. Bye-bye.
Later.
I don't know why, but the skies always break every time Shaggy sets the stakes. He lines up the lobbies, the cars all shine, but here comes a storm right on time. Oh, Rainmaker, why you gotta pour? We just want the track dry, nothing more. Every race, we're splashing through the lane. Shaggy, my friend, you're bringing the rain. The tires are slipping, the turns get wild. I'm hydroplaning, losing my style. We asked for the sun, a clear blue sky, but puddles keep falling, and I don't know why. Maybe it's luck, maybe it's fate, or maybe Shaggy's laughing at our state. Oh, Rainmaker, why you gotta pour? We just want the track dry, nothing more.